Hello, everyone. My name is Katie, and welcome to the Greenland Quilter channel. And today is Friday, April 17th. So we are already midways of April. Can you believe that, Chaunda?
No, I cannot. This year is flying by at a
Yeah,
ridiculous clip.
it can hardly keep up. You know what I mean? So crazy. Anyhow, so as y'all know, Chaunda and I are doing Sewcialites 3, and this has been a crazy week for both of us, so we don't even have our fabric cut. So tonight, what we're going to do is we are going to be not only cutting our fabric, but sewing our blocks, and she's going to be doing block number 7. And hang on a minute. Chaunda, can you hold up your block 7? And I'll show them.
I don't have it.
Oh, you don't have it print. Okay, hang on. I will. Hold on. So she's doing block number 8, which is the flower. Yeah.
I'm doing 7. You're doing 8.
Yeah, you're doing number 7. Sorry. This is what she's doing. Can everybody, I hope everybody can see that okay. She's doing the flower, which is called the Flower Block by Elizabeth Hartman. And I am going to be doing block number 9, which is called Beacon Block by Amy Smart of Diary of a Quilter.
You're doing 8, right?
Yeah, number 8. Did I say number 9 or something?
Yeah.
Sorry, y'all. We're doing 7 and 8. Like I said, I am a hot mess this week.
Me too.
Yeah, it's like I can't even think straight. Yesterday was the craziest of days because we were hopping and bopping around. Yesterday was I can't. I'm going to be cutting fabric and I'm going to be yapping about tomorrow. Talking about, I mean, yesterday, sorry. So Chaunda, do you have anything you want to talk about before we start cutting?
I do not. I need to pick I haven't even chosen my colors. Like that's how it's been. Normally, even if I haven't finished, like I at least have the colors picked. I haven't done that. So
I've got my colors picked, but that's about as far as I got. And you know what? These 2 blocks are I'm loving the fact that we can get really creative with these with the colors. So I'm going to be using 2 types of pinks, a yellow and a green, and a bluish color I plan on using on mine. So we'll see how that block looks by the time I get done. And as y'all know, I never pre-plan my colors until I get ready to sit down and do the block. And so I'll show you the colors I'm going to use. And while I'm doing that, maybe Chaunda will be able to figure out what color she plans on using.
So it shouldn't take me long to pick. I'm not going to label.
Yeah, I didn't think it would. So I'm going to spotlight. I'll be saying hi to everyone in the chat in just a minute. But let me go ahead and I'm going to spotlight the camera that you can see on my desk. This is the background. This light turquoise color. That's the background. Then I'm going to use 2 different shades of pink, which is this color and this one. Let me put the bigger piece on top here. Okay, so I'm going to use these 2 different hues of pink or shades, whichever you want to call it. I'm also going to use, hold on for a second. We're going to use this yellow right here. And then I'm going to be using this green right here and this blue. So those are the colors that's going to go into that block. So there's lots of yummy, happy, vibrant, batik colors. So that's the colors I'm going to use. Okay. So but I have not cut them. I'm going to, and also I want to show you, let me talk about the instructions here for a minute for the block I'm going to do first. We're both doing both blocks, but she's going to sew one online. And if we have enough time, we may get to both our blocks tonight. We'll see what happens. So we're both doing the 6-inch block, and it calls for squares, rectangles. Now there is the option that if you want to do this, Kimberly did include the recommended paper that you can do for FPP if you want to do it the FPP way. I am going to use half square triangle paper, and the paper it calls for the 6-inch block, which that's what this is 1.5 inch, which is the H150. There's you can actually buy this 1.5 inch paper in 2 different ways. You can buy it like this, or you can buy it in a different kind of setup that they have. So I'm going to be using that for the half square triangles. Now I don't have the flying geese, so I will be doing this the manual way. And yeah, we're going to see what happens here. It's a pretty much a stand. You see there's half squares, flying geese here, and half squares in the middle here. So I don't think it's going to be all that hard to do. It's just a matter of, because the squares will be a little bit small, we'll be having fun with that. So that's what I'll be doing with mine. All right, let me unspotlight myself. Okay, and Chaunda, let us know when you got your colors picked out, and we'll go from there.
I've gotten picked.
Okay, let me spotlight you.
Now in the pattern, she has a different print for I and H. I'm going to use the same one because that's just what I feel like doing. So my flower portion is going to be made from these 3 here. And then my stem and my leaves are going to be this green.
That looks good.
And my background is white throughout. So.
Nice. So it'll look really good. So that's where we are on the colors. So let's go over and say hello to everyone in the chat. Shelby was the first one in the chat today. Well, actually, someone called Profula Bernardi was in here first. But I don't know if this person's still in here. And then Shelby was second. And then we have Denise. Hello, hello. Hi, Denise. And yeah, Shelby saying hi. What is the gold cake? Oh, I already explained that in the chat. Hello, Cindy. Good. It's good to see you. That it was really neat to see first plane land on your airport. I know, my goodness. And we still have snow on the ground. And y'all, it's hilarious what happened yesterday. And we're going to talk about that while I'm cutting fabric. Hello, Patrice. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Andrea. It's good to see you. Let me see. Who else did we? Oh, and yeah. Okay. So I'm sure more will drop in. So while I'm cutting the fabric, let's talk about yesterday. Yesterday was pretty interesting because I couldn't sleep the night before because I was, yeah, my usual self. But anyhow, we got to the airport really early in the morning, and I think we were there probably about an hour, maybe an hour and 20 minutes before we knew when the plane was going to come in. And Nikolai was tracking the train on He was tracking the plane on his phone with an app he has on his phone. So we were tracking that. And originally the plane was supposed to come in at a certain area of the mountains, and it diverted to fly over the school in our town because the school children were all outside the school making, I couldn't see the video very clearly, but someone did video it. They made a Greenland flag, all the students did, for the outside to welcome the new airport in. So that was really cool. And then as y'all saw, we did the live. I do have Nikolai's video of where he filmed, because he was in a different part of the mountain because he went ahead of me because I was having difficulty getting across a certain part of the snow-covered part of it. And I decided that, you know, if I couldn't get up there to see the best view, he could. So I said, go for it, you know. So he was in a different part, and I'll get the video up in the next couple of days on that. And then he also filmed all the fireworks last night because I stayed inside, and the fireworks, oh my God, they are phenomenal. But so The inside the airport is nearly finished. They're operational. They just have things to tweak out, and there's still some stuff on the outside that they got to finish. A Swedish company is doing all the finishing work with all three airports that they've been working on with the Canadian company, but the Canadian company has finished what they were supposed to finish, so they've gone home. So now we have the Swedish company still here, and we actually got to talk to one of the guys who was one of the contractors. He was there at the, I'm sure there was more of them there. It was just that he happened to be at the same table we were at. And so we got a chance to talk about the airports and talked about Sweden. It was really fun and nice to get to talk to him. And the food was phenomenal. Let me tell you what, I don't know who did all the cooking, but my goodness, that sports hall was full. Hey, babe, let me ask him how many people he thinks we have. How many people do you think was there last night at the dinner? Maybe a couple hundred?
Yeah, probably two, maybe three.
Yeah, somewhere about 200 or 300 people. And what they did is they had a pre-sale. That's what it was. And so they only had an allotted amount of tickets to sell, and the sports hall can only hold so many people as well. So it's like a first come, first served kind of deal. And so basically what they did is once the tickets were sold out, there was no more, no one else could come. And so that place was packed. But you know what I found the most impressive about the whole thing was I met the president of Greenland yesterday. I got to hug him. It was so cool. And I'm not much of a politician person, but you know, he's the youngest president of Greenland they've had. And basically there's several of the politicians now that are very young in their 30s, which is wonderful. And I got to say hello to the mayor of our town. But what was amazing is after the dinner, you would have thought they would have all left. They didn't. They stayed all the way to the end when the band was all the bands were playing and everything. They never left. And you know, we didn't. They weren't surrounded by security or anything else. It was just a very laid back for our small town, and it was great to feel all the support and the love in the building. And when they all started singing together, you know, you could always tell with this group of people in this town here, when they come together and sing together, you can really feel the love amongst the community. So the music was really loud. But it was beautiful. I mean, I didn't know what, I had to ask Nikolai what they were singing about a couple times, because all of it was in Greenlandic. Some of the Greenlandic songs I already had recognized. There was a couple new ones I hadn't heard. It was just a lot of fun. And then after the dinner, between the dinner and when the actual rest of the band started singing, they went outside to watch the fireworks. And while they were watching the fireworks, the people who were controlling the food part were switching out what we ate for dinner to sweet stuff. So what we had for dinner last night was lamb, which I guessed right. And the lamb was exceptional. I mean, it was so yummy. So we had lamb and we had creamed potatoes. And then they made up a big containers of fresh vegetables, like salad and things like that. And that was part of the food. And they also served gravy to go with the lamb. And then for desserts, it was all different kinds of sweet stuff. I don't even know what half of, the only one I actually recognized what it was the macaroons. The rest of it was different chocolate, different, I forget what that pastry's called. Can't think of the name of it at the moment, but it was really cool. And yeah, and so we have quite we have firework videos to get uploaded so you can see those. And Nikolai's video from the airport, I got to get that one up. We now know how far it is from our house to the airport. It is 8.9 kilometers from our house to the airport. And
That's good, right?
Yeah. And I videoed the whole thing, and oh my God, I've never been back there before. And the mountains, when you're going through there, there's lakes that was frozen over. I didn't even know there was lakes back there. And then there was mountains even taller than the mountain we have on one side of our lake over here. So it was quite a treat. So I can't wait to see it when we go in June to fly out. I'll video the trip going into the airport and probably when we come back. And because everything will be green and beautiful, and it'll be nice to see what it looks like in the summertime. So, yep. So we had a beautiful day yesterday. It was a great celebration. And now, we'll see what happens now that we have an airport. I have to say that I got mail yesterday and today, and the mail I got yesterday was only 2 weeks getting here. And the envelope from Cotton Cuts was mailed out on April the 2nd, and I got it today.
So you're going to get your mail faster?
I'm thinking it is, because my goodness, normally it's been taking two and a half months to get here. And here I am with clue 3, and it looks like I'm going to be able to like keep up with everybody if this keeps on the track it's on.
That's maybe awesome. Because I guess that would make sense if it used to have to go to a different airport like farther away and then had to be trucked in.
Yeah. It basically, the way it was going, it would fly. Yeah, the mail would go through Nuke, and then it would go from Nuke to Narsarsuaq. And Narsarsuaq's weather is always so volatile anyway. And so it depends on, where it gets stuck at. And a lot of times right now, currently there is when you go to Deuce's website to check a tracking, there's a message on the site that says, due to excessive mail backup or backage or whatever you call it, when it backs up, it's a
backlog.
pile. Yeah, it's backlog or whatever you want to call it. Due to that, the mail may be running slightly late. And I'm like, no, it's been running really late. But yeah, I couldn't believe I got 2 packages as fast as I did this go around. So you're not going to hear, if this continues on this path, you're not going to hear me griping so much about the mail, because before the pandemic, you used to get mail. The mail would get here in what I call a timely fashion, because I do live over the ocean. And package could take anywhere from 2 weeks to a month.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Huh?
So I think, because that's reasonable. Like when I order things internationally, normally, that's about how long it takes.
Exactly. And so I didn't really complain too much back then, but then when COVID happened, it was like insanely crazy. It just didn't make sense why suddenly, during COVID I understood, but here we are 6 years later, and mail was as crappy as it was the day we were all locked down, But now we're on the up and ups, which is wonderful. Let me see what they're saying. And so if you guys haven't watched any of the videos, please go over and watch them. And also, I know that the music is in Greenlandic, and some might not want to watch it because it's in Greenlandic. But if you sit and listen to it, most of the music's, you could hear the joy as they were singing. There was such joy in the building last night, because this is a big deal for this small community. Because most everybody here has felt like that South Greenland has been left in the cold. You got Ilulissat growing like crazy, and Nuke has done nothing but build for the last 5 years. And we've lost businesses. Businesses have gone belly up, and it's just been a domino effect for our town. And a lot of the kids that graduate from school, they leave and they're not coming back home. And so that's why our population's been fluctuating. when I first moved here, it was right around 3,800. And there was several businesses and maybe 4 little cafes you could go to. And now we're down to 2. So 2 cafes, 2 itty bitty clothing stores, 1 little yarn store that just is more geared toward knitting. And that's about all we have here. That's it. And the 2 grocery stores. So I'm thinking that because the airport now, we should start seeing more traffic coming in and out of here. You know, and I know I talk a lot, but I'm cutting at the same time or trying to. Okay, let me see if anyone said anything in the channel. Hi, Giovanna. It's good to see you. And oh, the other thing was is after the fireworks last night, a wind came from, I think that was the west, and snow came with it. So it was snowing when we were walking home. It was hilarious. Now today's all bright and sunshiny. Hello, Green Goblin. She says, I'm ignoring that. You know, it would be nice when you came in if you said something else besides what you're talking about. And I'm not going to say any more about it. Shelby says she has to work on blocks 8 and 9. That was a really neat to see the first plane land on your airport. Yes, it was. And right now, the only it looks like the only planes that will be using that airport for now will be Air Greenland, no other companies. Although I'm kind of shocked by that because I figured Air Iceland would be able to land there, but I don't know. Maybe they're working out contracts. Maybe that's what the deal is. I don't know all the politics of, or what, I don't even know if you call it politics when you have other airlines coming into your airport. I don't know what you call that, but I'm sure there's some discussion going on about that because the airport's for us. All right. And how are you doing, Patrice? I hope you're doing well. Let's see here. Denise says prayers for a safe outcome for all being affected by severe. I saw that. You guys, some places are getting snow and very cold temperatures.
It is sweltering here.
I know. And
Like
there's
90 degrees.
Wow, that is hot. Time to learn more of the language, Katie. Let me see here. I watched off and on throughout the day when I could. I love seeing, especially your enthusiasm. Yeah, I was very enthusiastic. I was so excited. I can't buy from So Yeah, Goblin. Oh, right. Hi, Quilt and I. It's good to see you. And hey, Mona, I will be sending you an email for tomorrow if you're interested. And yeah, here we go. I'm caught up now. Let's get some blocks made. All right, because we got to make 2 different color paints here. All right. She says, I'm walking around in undergarments only. It's so hot. Oh. So parts of the United States already has summer roaring in like a lion.
It's really early for it to be this hot.
Yeah. And then you got other parts that's freezing their behinds off right now.
I think yesterday was 90. Today was almost 90. Tomorrow's going to be 90.
It's crazy.
It's not even, it's like, it's mid-April. It's not supposed to, like, we're having to open the pool early. It's so hot.
Wow. Who'd have thunk it?
They don't really open the pool till May.
Oh, really? Is that late? I think because we got winter so late. I don't know that. I don't know. We might not see our lake thaw out for another month. We'll wait and see. See, the other day when we walked outside, Nikolai comes back in and he says, you got to come outside. It smells and feels like spring out here. So I went out there and sure enough, it did. Uh-oh, where's mine? Oh, there it is. Then the next day, it was below zero again and snowing. It's like, make up your mind. And I told Nikolai that yesterday. I said, it reminds me of North Florida. You got hot weather all of a sudden, right in the middle of freezing temperatures, and then it'll be warm for 3 or 4 days. You think spring's coming, and then whop, you get a cold front. Goblin says it's snowing in Idaho. When do you plan on me being with you again? A couple of people have asked me and I did not know the answer. Oh, that's a good question. Let me look at I don't have time to look at the calendar right now, but after the live tonight, I'll look at the calendar and send you some dates and see which one you're up for, Andrea. We'll see what we can get done with that. Giovanna says, I heard about the hailstorm the other day in the US. I heard about it too. Someone said that they were expecting a hailstorm. Do you know we get hail here in the winter? It's interesting. You can tell the difference between snowflakes and the hail. Very interesting. Anybody seen Rita today? Wondering how she's doing.
I need to get to the post office. I have not. I've got like a stack of stuff I need to mail.
Yeah, if I continue to see this really, improvement on the mail system, and I did not cut a big enough piece. Dang it. I'm probably going to try to do a couple giveaways that I can mail out. Now I switched to the gift cards because that makes, total sense, because everything was in such a mess here in our town. Couldn't mail anything out because they basically closed the post office. There's no post office anymore. So our mail is sent to the store, our local grocery store. And so for a while there, getting information on how we send mail out wasn't happening. And finally, I talked to someone not long ago, and they said they just about got all the kinks worked out with that, and it should get simpler and much easier to mail out. So I'm happy to hear that. So now maybe I can actually do some giveaways if I want to, because it's not, the shipping cost out of Greenland is not bad. Now, I don't know what's going to happen when it gets to the United States. I don't know if there's going to be any kind of issues with that, but it shouldn't be, because I've shipped there before and never had trouble. But a lot of things has changed in the last couple of years. So we'll have to see. I'll have to test run it on someone and see what happens. Maybe I'll send something to Chaunda.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you. Just so we can see what's going to happen with the mail. Because you're on the East Coast, and so it won't have as far to go. You know what I mean? Maybe because next month or June is when the flights between Newark and Nuke start back up.
Okay.
And those flights will happen from June to September. So we'll see if some of that mail goes out that way or comes back in that way. It'll be interesting to see, especially now that we have our own airport. And from what I understand, Ilulissat's almost ready with their runway. Their runway got extended out to 1,800 meters so they can land bigger planes. Giovanna says a friend of her daughter's lost the roof because of it. Oh, good grief.
Wow.
It was on, she was on Giggles earlier. Giggles? Who's Giggles? Let's see here. Denise says low water tables around the country make for high wild. Yeah, I did see there's a fire. There's actually a flat fire already in Florida. And Florida is on a no burn ban right now, which doesn't surprise me because I saw where they were saying that there was drought is in effect for a lot of North Florida, especially. And so they put a burn ban in, but I can't remember. I think the fire's down in the middle of Florida somewhere. Where did my ruler go?
We are definitely in a drought, but we have not received any notification of any bans yet, at least not that I've heard.
Our weather is different, I think. I think the way the weather works, you know, with rain and everything else is shifting.
I think they said we're 14 inches short
Ooh,
for our required rainfall.
that's
We normally
nice.
get about 60 inches a year, approximately.
I've seen Florida in a drought before, more than once actually. And usually when it's droughty, it's very hot.
I'm wondering if the lack of rainfall is what's contributing to our heating up so quickly.
Probably. I would think it would be because I noticed with Florida, that's how it works.
It's
And
like
the-
spring. It's like spring is over. It's like we've gone straight into summer. Like we just
Yeah.
completely skipped spring.
Sounds like it, which means it's going to be one hot summer if that's the case. I remember one summer, I think it might have been 1977 maybe, or 78, one of those 2 years. We went to church camp, us girls did. And the river was already, you know, swollen because of all the rainfall. I mean, we were getting flooded. And the river was so high, it was up over the top of the banks of the sides of the river. And we were swimming in it. And it was which if I'd have known back then not to be swimming in it was like that. And like half the kids in the camp were sick, either with what do we call it when you get it? Some ground worms in your feet. I didn't have that, but what I did have was a nasty ear infection. And so he probably should have canceled camp because of that. Okay, let me see here. C. Two, which is the yellow. We need 4 of those, 2 inch by 3.5. Okay, let me see what else I can catch up with here. Andrea says, I think I saw in someone's chat earlier. I cannot remember which one. I've been in several, but did not chat because I was sewing and watching TV. I didn't sew it all yesterday, unfortunately. And then Goblin says, how do you sew the half square triangles with the paper, but only one square instead of a line of them? Because when I just looked at the pattern, there's only one set of half square triangles. I could have did it the manual way. With all the chemtrails, you would think you would make it rain. I don't think it works that way. And then Giovanna says, you need to plant trees. We have trees here. But I bet there's going to be some more planting now that we got all that open land where all the way to the airport. what amazed me was seeing the amount of frozen lakes. I didn't know there was so many back there. So I can't wait to see it all thawed out. Okay, we need to make. How are you doing on your cutting?
I'm progressing. Getting there.
Let's see. C is yellow, just 2 inch by 3.5 inch. Let's do it this direction.
I had to iron, you know.
Need to trim the sides up. So I got to make 4 of these. So what I'm doing is I'm going to be making 4 rectangles here. I've already got my 2 shades of pinks here for half square triangle. And we'll talk more about this paper here directly. But let's get the other part of this done. I need to have 4 2 inch by 3.5 inch. So we're going to get that done. I've been thinking about what I want to do with those fireworks videos. Nikolai did them in increments. Like one is 2 minutes and 33 seconds long. And out of all of them, that is the best one. Because you could really see they were using really big batteries. So the fireworks were just like go, 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 kept on going and going and going, you know, for 2 minutes and 33 seconds. That's what it did. It was pretty fun. Okay, now I want to go. Let's see here.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they're trying to plant trees in the US, Giovanna.
It'd be hard to plant trees when you have a big ass drought going on. You know, we have a saying in Florida. I don't know if it's anywhere else in the more southern states, but when the first day of summer starts in the South or in Florida anyway, we call it the dog days of summer. And so from June 21st until fall, certain kinds of plantings don't happen because of the heat.
I've heard that expression, but I never knew what it meant.
Yeah,
it's like a movie.
There might even be there might be a movie called that, but in the gardening industry, we all know what that means. Certain things you just don't dig up and move during that time frame because it will more than likely die, even if you take special care. Okay, got the rectangles cut for these are going to be flying geese right here. Now I need to cut squares for the stitch and flips, and then we got more half square triangles right here. Oh, and I might do those manually, maybe. I don't know. I might do the paper because I still have one left right here, and I only need. No, I need to cut another piece. Okay, let's start with this stitch and flips though. Okay, so for D, I've got to have 2 inch squares. So yesterday when we were when they were getting ready for us to go ahead and help ourselves to the food, we were trying to pull the tops off these aluminum pans that they had everything, all the food in. and I cut my finger wide open on the edge of it.
No, that smarted.
It did, and it's right here, and it's about a half an inch long, and I mean it bled all over everything. That was a mess. I'm like, great. And I wasn't the only one that got themselves cut, because there were several of us trying to help open the tops up, and two people that were standing next to me were, because there were several containers to open, and we were all helping out, and three of us got our fingers cut. So it was the lid that goes over the top of the aluminum pans. That's what cut us.
Mm.
And I'm
Yeah, those
wondering
can be
how.
sharp.
Yeah, it was super sharp. Came home with a bottle of wine. Just couldn't resist. Because I like drinking red wine with lamb.
Yeah, that's a good combo.
Let's see here. We have some more chit chat going on. Let me catch up on that. Lynn, make it without the paper. That's right. You don't need the paper. The paper is an option. Goblin says, I don't know how to use a half square triangle paper for a single. All you do is, so if you're going to make, okay, like I'm going to trim this off because this side of the paper I tore. So if you want to make like 4 half square triangles using paper, you would only need to cut two pieces of this. That's it. And then on this paper, it makes 2 half square triangles. All you're doing is using paper instead of drawing lines. And I hate drawing lines worse than anything. I don't like drawing lines. I just don't like doing it, put it that way. And so a lot of times I'll avoid doing it. Okay, I need to make 2-inch squares. And the thing with half square triangle paper is it keeps you pretty accurate. Not perfect.
I still managed to be inaccurate with it.
Yeah, I've gotten where I'm getting really good with doing regular just half square triangles. And let me see here. A and B require 2.5-inch squares. So I'll probably, since there's 4 of these corners, I'll probably just go that route instead of doing the paper, because I didn't want to cut more paper. Let me see here. We need 8 of these 2-inch squares. And I'm going to have to draw lines on this one anyway. One. Thought about putting those fireworks at the beginning of it, maybe at the beginning of tomorrow's live, while people are coming in. Let one of the videos play with all the fireworks. I'll like make a little trailer.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be fun. Andrea says, Jen, if you're lurking in the chat, where in Wisconsin are you? I didn't know Jen was here. Hi, Jen, if you're here. I am watching all the tornadoes in your state and worrying about you. Denise says, do they seed to make it rain? I don't. You need to Google that, Denise. I know, and people refuse to believe what? Wait, I read that wrong. They do seed to make it rain. I doubt that. That is why you plan to plant. If they can plant in the desert in other parts of the world, they could do it there too, says Giovanna. DNA all over I don't know what that means either.
I'm assuming they're just continuing a conversation that they're having or something. So I don't get it
I
either.
don't even know what they're talking about now. Okay. All right, we got 8 of these. Now what I need to do is, because these are for my stitch and flips to go with the yellow, so I'll put those up there. And now that I got that done, this done, so all I got to do is the corner ones, and I'm going to be using this blue with the turquoise. What did I do with the rest of it? Oh, here it is. We are going to need 4 2.5 of the background. And B, we're going to need 2 of this. Oh, no, I'll need 2. Never mind. So 2 and 2. Okay. We're finished with that. I'm going to fold this so I can do 2 at a time. Chemtrails. So we need 2.5. Let's put this ruler.
All right, this is my last piece to cut.
You know what else happened at the dinner last night?
What's that?
Apparently someone did a marriage proposal last night.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, they did a marriage proposal and then did a dance together. And the band that was up on the stage played the wedding dance. It is a Greenlandic song, apparently. But it was so cool. I just thought it was so nice that all of our leadership stayed for all the fun, you know. Oh, don't forget about. Uh-oh. Did my questions not go up for tonight?
No, they were there.
I don't see them.
I mean, I dismissed the poll, so mine went away, but it was definitely there.
The poll should be there.
Yeah.
Because I was going to read the poll. I forgot to mention that. Oh, there it is. I was about to say. All right. All right. About a question. I'm going to do 2 questions tonight because last night's live was canceled due to me due to us participating in the community stuff. So this is question number 19, which should have been last night. What does the white and red colors represent on the national Greenland flag? And here's your options. Option A is ice and sun. Option B is clouds and sun. Option C is polar bears and fire. And I misspelled that. Look at that. I got my letters backwards. I hate when I do that dyslexia stuff. And D is ice and fire. So what time is it now? Let's see. We've been live an hour. So in 30 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and answer that question. Then I'm going to write a new question because we need to do 2 tonight. That way we don't get behind because of not having the regular live last night. So that's the poll. Make sure you do the poll. And also don't forget to write down the answer when I give it. And I noticed, which is interesting, I thought some people were going to go ahead and start doing their form early, but no one has. But if you want to look at the form, here's the link for looking at the form that you'll need to fill out between the last day. You can start filling them out now if you want to, but if you're waiting till the end, make sure you do it because the last day of questions will be the last Thursday of this month, which is the 30th. And then you have a week to get your answers filled in, and there's 25 questions. So here's the link for that. I have a kink in this fabric. I'm going to cut it off and deal with it later. I know what I'll do. I'll do it on this end. We'll cut this piece off. You know how you sometimes have yardage that, or yeah, because this is yardage, has this crease in it. It doesn't want to come out when you iron it. Can't hear you. What happened to the?
I had to take a quick call.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I thought you were talking to us.
That's
Sorry.
fine.
It's okay.
Yeah,
I
he was checking with me because I gave him a little mini shopping list. And so he was checking with me before he came home to make sure.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking to me. I didn't know. Sorry.
I'm sorry. No, that's why I had muted it. But then I didn't realize that you'd see my lips moving and be like,
I can't
"What's he
read
saying?"
this. Okay, so what I'm going to do now that I'm cutting these last two pieces is I'm going to go ahead and draw the lines on these 2.5 inch, because we're going to make half square triangles with this without the paper. And I need a pencil. Let's see here. And one more line.
Right. It is all cut and laid out.
All right, you're on a roll.
Sewing.
Time to start sewing. I'll be sewing here directly too. It's getting these lines drawn.
Ugh. Hey.
So
I'm
when
gonna
we
go
sew,
see if my printer finally printed because it's gonna
oh,
be
did
hard
you?
for me to set up my phone as my secondary camera
Okay,
and look at the pattern. So I'm just gonna see if it printed.
okay. Katie, I have a question about the 4-patch block project, but it can wait if that's not till tomorrow. Hang on a minute, Denise. I need to see when I had that written in the calendar, because it might be this week we're doing that. Yep, part 2 tomorrow. Yep. I'm going to, speaking of my sew along for the 4-patch blocks that you need to make 35 of, I'm going to try to re-explain about splitting up your layer cakes if you're using layer cakes. And I'm hoping it makes better sense. At least I hope so. If not, then we'll go from that. Giovanna says, good night. Cindy Surrett, Giovanna, have a great night. And Andrea says, I read lips, Chaunda, but the closed captions are all over your mouth on my computer, so you are in luck. Okay, let's go ahead and get started on this. I wasted enough time. And someone let me know when it is. 6 o'clock Eastern. So all I'm doing is I drew 2 diagonal lines, which is a 1/4 inch seam allowance here on both sides. And I'm going to sew on the line. Then we're going to cut it right down the middle to make our half square triangles. And we're supposed to end up with 2-inch unfinished.
All right, I got my printouts. I need a new printer, but I just refuse to buy one.
So it didn't work?
No, it did. It printed. It's just like it prints. It does what I need it to do. It's just really slow. So it I had to change the ink cartridges. And then whenever I change the ink cartridges, it has to do what it calls printer maintenance. And it takes it like forever.
Yep. What kind of printer do you have? Mine wants to do that. Uh-oh. It wants to do that print thing, and then you put it in the scanner for it to realign itself.
Yeah, fortunately, it doesn't make me do that.
Which I find annoying. We had a Canon printer, and that printer was nothing but it was a nightmare owning that one. So I switched back to HP.
Yeah, that's what I have. I've only ever had HPs.
Yeah, same here. And then 1 year I couldn't buy an HP, and the printer that Nikolai had broke or something. I don't know. And so we bought the Canon, and the Canon, it just was a pain. And on top of that, half the time we couldn't even get ink cartridges for it, which now we experience the same problem with the HP.
Yeah, I do the HP instant ink. I mean, I probably would come out cheaper buying my own ink, but it just, I don't know. I just give them the $5.99 a month.
I wish they had that for over here.
When the ink gets low, they just send me new cartridges. So, and I think I'm allowed to print. I think I used to have a bigger package, but now I think I have the 100 pages a month is the package that I'm on. I can print 100 pages a month.
Oh, cool.
But so I never have to worry about like finding ink. They just mail it to the house. You know, I have not sewn since I last sewed with you.
Has it been that long?
I have not sewn since I sewed with you last.
Wow. You been that busy? Or just in a...
I mean, I've been busy and then just also just in a funk.
Yeah, I was going to say the F word. The funk word. I didn't sew it all yesterday. I'm trying to think. Let's see. Wednesday, did I sew? Nope. I vegetated on Wednesday. I just was not in the mood. And I
I'm
should
going to
have
challenge myself
so
to do a
much
sew
work
every day in May.
Yeah. I need to be sewing every day so I can get caught up on stuff. But I'm very close to getting ready to sew all of my you know, the Stitch It Jolly Bar thing I was doing. With that free Jolly Bar 5 pattern that Fat Quarter Shop was sponsoring from their little book. I've got all my blocks done now. I just got to put sashing on, and then I discovered guess these were going to run out of her background and not have enough for the borders. So I'm going to see what I can do about that. Because I've looked everywhere for Callie and Co, and there just isn't any. Not the background anyway. And I bet these triangles are going to be off. I'm about to see.
Because after the live, I have to cook dinner. And then I've got to pack a bag and go to my aunt's house for the weekend because my daughter is going to the beach. And my aunt, with her cancer status right now, she really can't be by herself.
Uh-oh.
So
That's the one that's having the health problems, right?
and I had to go to her house yesterday because they were delivering the fridge. And they needed help, emptying the old fridge and loading it into the new fridge. And so just, I've just done a lot more running.
Yep.
A lot more back and forth. And then, having to go into the office. I just don't have as much time to sew. I just need to make the time. I mean, it's not that I don't have time because I do. I just spend the time I have bullshitting.
Sometimes you just got to take time off. With all the money we saved in taxes, you can buy the best printer on the market.
You must be being facetious.
I was just gonna say, okay.
You gotta be joking because this one here didn't save a dime. Done.
I only gave her honey.
What?
I only gave her just a small piece. I didn't give her her whole meal. So that's probably what she's complaining about. She wants the rest of her food. Our dog is like a little kid. She knows when you're jipping her. It's funny with her because it's like she don't miss anything. Where is my seam roller at, dadgummit? It's missing in action over here. It's probably up underneath all this chaos of fabric pieces. I got so much little tiny pieces laying up here in a big pile. Look, Chaunda, look how big my pile's gotten. See that big pile right there?
Hold on, let me make you bigger because it's too tiny. Hold on.
Right there.
Oh yeah, I see.
It's already about 7 inches tall.
Jeez.
And it's just the tiny, tiny pieces that you can't do anything with.
Yeah, I sweep those right in the trash can.
Well, I'm putting them in big
You can make a
bags.
dog bed?
Yes, yeah, I'm gonna use them for a dog bed instead of throwing them out in the landfill.
So Rita says she's only ever owned HP printers. She also refused to repair any other printers that are not HP. And Denise, okay. Rita said she didn't care for the HP ink that came with the program that I was talking about. She likes the XL ink. Now, I used to use the XL ink before I joined that program. So when I used to buy my own ink, I did buy the XL ink. And I also used to cheat. So I used to buy because you can buy just the ink itself with a little syringe and inject your own cartridges. And I used to do that too. Denise says HP ink cartridges is never completely empty, crooks all around. I can never tell. Yeah, I'm with you, Rita. I don't remove the ink cartridges just because the printer is telling me it's low on ink. I won't
tells me
until
it's
it
going,
won't
but
print at all, then that's when I replace it.
yeah, same here. I wait till you can't see any ink on the paper.
But it was like a cheap printer to start with. So it was like $150 to start with. And I got it in like 2020 because I was home more. So it's like 6 years old now. So it's an older, I would consider it an older printer. No, you're right. The refill ink is not as good as the cartridges, but when you're poor, and I was for a very long time, that you do what you got to do. So I definitely did that. Because I'm mostly printing, like I'm not printing like high quality stuff here. I'm printing like recipes and quilt and crochet patterns. So for me, it's like, you know, I don't need high quality printing. Because I used to do all my printing at work. That's why I had to that's why I had to buy a printer when the pandemic hit, because I used to print everything at work, everything. We had a color printer, so I could choose if I wanted to make it color or not, and I printed 100% of everything at work. So then when I'm home for the pandemic, I can't print anything. Um, and so that's when I got the printer and I went on the HP Instant Ink. But I haven't used the refill ink in quite some time, maybe 10 years. You don't print much, Rita. She said she brought her printer 5 years ago. It has 2 trays, the automatic dock feeder, and then it scans. Yeah, mine scans also. She says she's only replaced the ink twice, and the second time was a week ago. Nah, fam, I'd be replacing my ink quite often.
Go through a lot of
Yeah, not as often as it used to be. Like when I first did the HP Instant Ink, I did a higher level program. I think it was like 500 pages. And when I tell you I printed everything I could get my hands on, like I have probably 1,000 pages. I couldn't even tell you. Enough that I had to buy my own box of paper. Not a single ream, but a box of paper. And I printed and printed and printed and printed because that's when I got into quilt. Like that was right when I got back into quilting. And so I wanted every quilt pattern that I saw, I wanted to print it. And so I have literally probably 1,000 quilt patterns printed. It's ridiculous. Like mostly free, like the Robert Kaufman and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, I have massive like 3 or 4 inch binders over there, just full of paper. And then I have a bunch of
like
other
me.
that I haven't printed. I mean, that's printed, but I haven't put it in a binder yet. And I organized them by the pre-cut. So I have like layer cakes in one binder and jelly rolls in another and stuff like that. And then I have a binder that's for yardage patterns. Yeah, Andrea, see, that's what I mean. Sometimes you got to get those refills. So okay. So Rita, if you print a ton, how did you, even with the XL cartridges, how did you not have to switch or replace your ink?
Yeah, because I go through a lot of those. And I don't see how you print that many without running out. What size are these supposed to be?
So you do a ream of paper every couple of months. Yeah, 500 sheets. So yeah, Andrea, it honestly, because Andrea says she just downloads the PDFs and quote from the screen and not print it because she can enlarge the page and read it easier. And for some reason, I'm just very paper oriented. I'm very tactile.
I can't look at a screen, a PDF pattern on a screen. I need it on paper.
Yeah,
I
I really
right down here in my, I don't want to look up at a screen.
now crochet is different. When I crochet, I can crochet from a screen. It does not need to be printed. And I don't know why that is, but with the quilting, I need to print it out. I need to see it. I need to touch it. I don't know. It's weird. But I remember when my job went paperless, I was like, well, not me. They tried to encourage us to like print less and do everything digitally. And they started that process about 10 years ago. And it really wasn't until the pandemic and I was forced to, because I could not print my work stuff. That's when I started getting used to looking at things on the screen. Because prior to that, I printed everything out at work, my work stuff and my personal stuff. But once I got sent home, I could not print my work stuff because you had to get. I work for a bank, and so security purposes and all that stuff, you have to get your printer like issued from the bank. So it's only because of that that I've gotten used to doing my work on screen and not printing everything out. But when I'm quilting, I need that sucker printed, especially when I'm cutting. I might could fudge it for the actual quilting part, but when I'm cutting that stuff out, it needs to be written down. And I've even gone to the point where I've rewritten the cutting instructions to make them easier for my brain to understand. I'll look at how they're written and write my own because I don't know. It has to be written. You see, y'all are feeling me. Y'all making me feel less old because I'm like, hey.
Hi, Quilting on. She says,
Hey,
I have to
Quilting
have
on.
things printed. Yep.
Mhm.
Same here. I've always been this way.
Yes, it is
That's
better
why
with
I
the
don't,
phone than on a computer. Yes,
yeah. That's
agreed.
why I don't do, that's why I don't read books on a screen. I buy the book.
I did get used to reading books on screen. That was an adjust. I didn't think I would ever be able to get used to it.
My eyes just can't take it. I spend enough time in front of these screens.
I think I got used to it because I used to travel for work, and it was a lot easier to read a book on my phone than to try to bring several with me. And I think the last bastion was when I went on a cruise like back in like I don't know 2016 or something like that, 2017 or something. And I wanted to read, and it was just easier to load all the books on my phone than it was to try to bring 10 books with me.
When I travel, I buy magazines, deliberately buy magazines, an excessive amount of them to bring them home. So I have magazines in English to read. And we have a magazine rack in our bathroom with magazines sitting in it. Because me and him read in the bathroom too.
The math geek says if there are lots of paragraphs of text, I rewrite them too. Yeah, man. Like my brain can't wrap around sometimes. Denise says she listens to audiobooks. I just started, I think I listened to my first audiobook maybe like 3 years ago. Um, I can't do it a lot because I'm one of those people that like when you read to me, it literally goes in one ear and out the other. Like I'll hear it, but I can't process it. So if I listen to a book on tape, I have to really pay attention to every word. And sometimes I'll even look at the text as they're reading it.
Hey,
I'm a weirdo.
you went this year when you went to QuiltCon, did you happen to notice whether there was a Kai scissor vendor there this year?
I don't remember.
Did you remember seeing that or not?
I don't remember, to be honest. Rita says she gets 2,000 pages out of the color and 25 from the black. Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. I definitely can't get that many, but so yeah, I'd love to get. Well, but I've never counted either. I've never kept track, so I don't know.
It's hot in here, honey.
Hi, Housey with love. Rita says listening to a book is one of the most frustrating things. I'm trying to get used to it because I want to read more, but I don't have time to be reading more. So so it's like I want to be able to like listen to a book while I crochet or listen to a book while I quilt. Like I want to be able to do that or listen to a book while I'm, washing dishes. And I think I can get I think I'm about there because I've been doing podcasts and I get that. So, but I've been doing like I do like short form. So like maybe 20 minutes and I have to do everything sped up. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Like Math Geek, it's hard for me to retain the information unless I really physically pay attention to every word that comes out of the reader's mouth. Like it's almost like as they're reading it, I'm saying it back to myself. But when I do like a podcast, Like if I watch one of Katie's videos, like while I'm cooking or something, I can pay attention to that. But I don't know why I struggle more with a book. I don't know.
Man, what is the deal with mine?
How's it? Where do you get your audiobooks from? What are you using? I used to do a subscription called Scribd, and that's where I used to be able to read books from there, or and then I would get like a certain number of audiobooks I could do per month.
Nikolai and I use Audible.
I just refuse to give Amazon any more of my money. So I refuse to use Audible because they're tied to Amazon and Amazon gets enough of my money.
It's the one, I guess, guilty pleasure that we use is the Amazon Prime and also the Audibles. Because Nikolai, when he's working on the deck, he runs Audibles in his ears.
I just feel like, I already pay for Prime. I buy a lot on Amazon. I'm not giving Amazon them. They're not. I'm just not giving them another dime. I thought about doing a free subscription to Audible, just to just the test run that they'll let you do every once in a while for 3 months, and then canceling it.
Hey, Diane. She says it's almost 6 Eastern. Okay, let's do this first question. And then I'm going to set up the second poll for the next question, which will be question number 20. Let me
And I'm
make
gonna
sure.
stop running my mouth and start sewing.
Oh, well, right now I'm just getting these blocks trimmed and ready to go. And I got to still do the stitch and flips for the flying geese. And I probably should have cut these bigger. I guarantee I'm going to regret not cutting these bigger. Alrighty, let's do this. And they gave everybody flags yesterday that came to the airport.
Mm-hmm.
They had like cases of them, and they started giving them to us as we walked in the door. So I finally have a Greenland flag for inside the house.
I'm listening, but I'm gonna go on mute because I'm about to hook up my other camera, and I don't want any weird noises or feedback.
So here's question number 19. What does the white and red colors represent on the Greenlandic flag? Is it A, ice and sun, B, clouds and sun, C, polar bears and fire? And yes, that's me writing dyslexia. Yeah, I didn't even see it until it was after I did it. And D, ice and fire. So the red part here, this has to do with the sun. And also this lower red part has to do with the midnight sun. The white depicts ice. So the answer is A, ice and sun. And so we're headed toward summer. Last I checked, we're up to, I think it's 13 or 14 hours of daylight. I'll look and see where we are now because I'm already seeing a difference. And so A is the answer. Sun or ice and sun. That's the answer. So this is the only country that's part of the Nordic countries that doesn't have the cross in the middle of their flag. And they decided to do that. I can read what they decided on doing because it's interesting. The reason our flag doesn't look similar to Denmark's flag, even though we're part of the Danish realm. So basically, it's a symbol, this flag is, and it was adopted in 1985 and designed by Thule Christensen. It was created to symbolize Greenland's unique identity, natural landscape, and move towards self-determination. The red and white design known as I can't pronounce this word, but it's a Greenlandic word. Our flag features a top white stripe for the ice sheet, a lower red stripe for the ocean, and a circle representing the sun setting in the sea. The design, let's see, I read that part. It was chosen from hundreds of designs to reflect a unique Greenlandic rather than purely Scandinavian identity. The red and white colors directly reference to Danish, maintaining the connection to the Kingdom of Denmark. The absence of the cross, unlike other Nordic flags, Greenland's flag features no Nordic cross, indicating a distinct Inuit identity and a departure from European-based symbols. The flag was officialized on June 21st, 1985. So there you have it. All right, now I'm going to put a new poll up. And it'll be question number 20, and then we'll be back on the right track. So let me get that one out, and y'all can go ahead and answer that one, and then in an hour and a half I'll answer that one too. Or right before, let me see, what time is it now? We have a little about 55 minutes left of this live, because I'm gonna dump you guys into Donna's.
You're getting dumped today, guys. You're getting dumped.
Yep, we're gonna go raid Donna's channel. Donna's back doing live, so you know, you guys can go over there and help her out too. So I think we'll get our blocks pretty much finished tonight. If not, me and Chaunda can do it and then post pictures.
I'm definitely gonna get block 7 done.
Yeah.
Block 8, maybe not.
Let's do the second poll. All right, the next question is what does coffee mick mean? Some of these answers are comical.
Oh, geez.
See, one thing about this particular one, and I'm going to have to figure out how to write it shorter. The answers, it only allows me 32 characters, and the answer for this one's a bit longer. So I got to figure out how to break it down.
All right.
And the last one. Let's see. Okay, something must have ran over. What ran over? Uh-oh. That's where it went wrong. Okay, the next question, number 20, is What does coffee make mean in Greenland? Is it A, coffee is in the blood of Greenland? B, coffee sells well in Greenland? C, celebration with friends and family? D, the summer solstice. And you guys, I've talked about coffee mix because coffee mix are offered to tourists during tourist season. So think about what I told you about what happens at a coffee mix. All right, get back to sewing. That's a good view, Chaunda.
Thanks.
The only thing is we can't hear you.
You can't?
Now I hear you.
Oh, I don't think I was saying anything.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you had answered my comment or not.
No, what did you say?
I said that's a good view you got going on there.
Oh, oh, I did say thank you, so I guess you couldn't hear that. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't hear that.
All right. I will work on it.
You
I've
and
got
I,
my mic over here, so I was hoping.
yeah, I got to work on a mic issue, especially since we're going to be setting up a desktop. I'm like, okay, we have no sound coming out of anything, so that means speakers and microphones and a camera. So what size were these supposed to be again? 2.5. Why does this look off? Because it is off. Oh, really? Uh-oh. They're all off. Uh-oh. I'm going to have to use this on something else. Okay, I need to cut another piece of fabric. What did I do with the green? No, there's a good excuse to cut it bigger, which was fine by me. And then I could trim that flying geese down. Okay, so it calls for 2.5 inch. So let's do 2 3/4. I had my ruler upside down. That's where I went wrong. I forgot to flip it around. Sometimes I do that because I get a glare on the ruler and can't see it. So you guys, I have a question for you guys. Has anyone noticed that the lighting is better on the desk? Do you like this brighter desk? And I can actually add some more illumination to it if I want to. The problem is when I do that, it kind of does something. Uh-oh. It does something. With my laptop camera. But do you like the more light over here? So can you see this better now? I'm experimenting with these cutter lights that was gifted to me. No, I don't want to cut that. We got to draw a line. Okay, let's get lines drawn on the back of these. Hey, Sherry. I was gonna ask something I needed to ask Sherry. What was it I needed to ask her? And it was important too, don't. Oh, I know. So I got a box from Fat Quarter Shop yesterday, and after I finished putting lines on this, Sherry, can you hang about? Don't leave, because I have a question to ask you. Because I got some stuff that has to do with English paper piecing from Fat Quarter Shop.
Has anyone heard from Laura lately? How's
Laura Sup?
mm-hmm.
I think I saw her on a live. I don't remember which day it was. Maybe it was Saturday, I think. She said she was doing all right. She's just been doing family stuff apparently.
Okay.
Now I haven't seen her this week, but I like I said, I took a day off from social media yesterday. Oh, why am I? No, I'm drawing the wrong kind of lines on here. Uh-oh. I only need to draw a center line. Oops. Have square triangles on the brain apparently. Glad I caught that. Oh boy. I'm hoping that the paper I bought will be good enough. Because I'm not sure when Melanie's sending me the cardstock, but she's going to send me cardstock too, probably an entire ream of it when she sends my next box. She'll be happy to know that mail might get here faster. So what I'm doing is I'm just drawing lines right now because we're going to use it for the stitch and flips.
I chose not to draw any lines, and instead I am winging it.
Yeah, I don't do good with winging. It ends up me having to rip it off and redo it again. And I
Usually,
already,
if it's like a 1.5 inch square, or I'll usually just wing it, or I'll throw a piece of diagonal seam tape on my machine.
problem is this flying geese are my nemesis. They never come out the way they're supposed to.
I told you I got to do the Eleanor Burns. I did an entire quilt of flying geese, just because I wanted to get better at making them. And for me, it's the Eleanor Burns 4 at a time method, only because they're bigger and you can trim them to size. Even the creative grids 4 at a time, mine still end up wonky.
The only ones I've seen not come out wonky is the ones with the paper, but I don't have paper for this size.
I've never done them with paper. I
The
need to
ones that are
finish
with
that quilt.
the dragon fruit, oh my goodness. It has paper with those big flying geese. And when I sewed that first flying geese with the paper, because that's the first time I'd done it, I was like blown away by the whole thing. Because when I peeled all the paper off and did all you're supposed to do, the flying geese were great. I didn't have these wonky looking things staring back at me. I just don't have fun making them at all. I have cheated before where you're supposed to do flying geese and I did half square triangles instead just to avoid the whole dang thing.
I don't blame you. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
And hi, Howsy, how are you? It's good to see you in here. And Shelby says, I've seen her on Tammy's channel. She's taking care of her father. What while I'm sewing these flying geese, I will put this, Sherry, this is the paper that came today. Hopefully I'll I'll blow up the screen where you can see it. Is this paper okay for our project? Let me know. So I got some of this, but I also bought 1-inch hexagon small pack, and these are 1-inch ones, and there's 100 in here. I bought those because I know that I saw where they was using 1-inch. I think I saw 1-inch. I don't remember. Let me see here. Let me know, Sherry, if this is okay, because these are just empty sheets that I can run through the printer.
I have not sat and cut or trimmed in a very long time.
Yep, I hear you on that.
I normally get up and stand when I trim my units, even if it's just one or two. I never do this. It feels so weird.
Oh, it was. I know one thing. I need to get the eraser to get the rest of this pencil mark off this one. I can still see some of it. Green dance. Green Goblin says we can't see. Can't see what?
Oh shit. Oh no, I don't know.
Well, I spotlighted my screen camera so that Sherry could see the paper that came in the mail today. Yeah, yesterday. It's this English paper piecing paper design cut stitch. Because in the Alice's Wonderland skill building sewalong, there's English paper piecing in it. And I'm like petrified. I don't know what I'm more petrified about, that or the, I don't know though, us doing that little bit of applique the other day for the members, that really went good. I still got work to do. I still got to get all my roofs on. And then it's the doors and windows that got to go on next.
Oh, y'all did applique houses?
You start out with Dresden's that you sew together in a circle, the Dresden part
Okay.
of it. And then the applique is the center, as well as the roofs, because you get to make wonky roofs to go on all of the pieces. And then there's doors and windows that are also applique. So
Neat.
my center went okay. Um, I think it looks interesting, actually. But I'm happy with it. I think I hope I did it right. I didn't use a blanket stitch on it though, because it has it the way they had you do for the circle. They had you sewing it 2 5-inch squares together, and then drawing a circle, and then sew on the circle,
Okay.
and then trim, and then turn it inside out after you cut a slit, and you know where you could pull it out. And so all I did was do a very small stitch around the very edge of it, all the way around when I attached it to the center of the Dresdens. I didn't do any fancy stitch because I got to look up. Well, I found the Jess was help. She told me which one was a blanket stitch on my Janome. Now all I got to do is get me some scraps and learn how to use the blanket stitch. Because I've seen the blanket stitch on some appliques, and to be frank, I'm not impressed.
I feel you, and that's why I haven't done it. I've played with it a little bit. But like with my personal machine, not this machine, but the old one that I broke, I had played with the blanket stitch on that, just trying different stitch lengths and widths and to see if I found one that I liked, and I did not.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it looks like a hot mess. Now, have I done the blanket stitch on my machine yet? No. But I will mess around with it and see if I can come up with, first I got to learn how to do it. And then the other thing is it coming out the way I want it to come out. And if it doesn't, then I'm probably going to do an itty bitty straight stitch all around all of my, what do you call it, roll applique or whatever it's called. Ooh, I was about to cut that.
Yeah, the only thing is like when like if you were gonna do it on a project that you're gonna be washing a lot, then even that raw edge is still gonna fray
Mm-hmm.
at some point. But I've only done it on stuff I wasn't gonna be washing a lot. So
Yeah, I don't think this is going to get washed because it's a mini quilt that you can hang up on the wall or put behind a picture frame if you want. I'm not sure the exact. I have the exact. Um, I'll look for the pattern in a minute and tell you what the dimensions of the finished is supposed to be. Okay, time to cut this. Let me make sure everything lays up like it's supposed to. Yep, it does. And what size are these flanks? These are supposed to be unfinished 3.5 by 3.5. That does not look like 3.5 to me.
son of a
The rectangles were
gun.
supposed to be 2 inch by 3.5. But I don't understand how an unfinished can be 3.5 by 3.5. That doesn't make sense.
I'm gonna have to recut this and do it again.
Wait, I'm looking at the wrong thing. 2 inch by 3.5. Never mind, I figured it out.
My honey's home. I can hear the music.
Huh?
But
Someone's
my
home.
honey's home. I can hear the music in the car.
Andrea says, I use the blanket stitch, but my favorite is the feather stitch. I probably have that one on this machine too. And hey, Zaza, how are you?
Hey Zaza. Hey Sherry.
Zaza says, Denise, it's better to use the actual paper to get the feel if you can use the papers more than once. I thought of you. Wait, something. Oh, okay. Katie. Zaza says, hi, Katie. Just ordinary 6.5 pound cardstock is what EPP. This does not say what it is, but this came from Fact Quarter Shop. It says it's English paper piecing paper. Yeah, I unspotlighted myself, but I had it spotlighted so Sherry could see the paper. Let's see. I finished today's new block. Denise says, I agree with you, Zaza, but I know from personal experience that it's possible to mess up paper or not. The more things I have to use, the higher probability of me never finishing a personal problem. Yeah,
I feel you on that.
me too, because I'm worried that I'll start on it and can't do it and not do it. Try to do it and discover I can't do it. Put it that way. Because hand sewing's not my strong point right now due to fastening off, because I still haven't figured out how to do that properly. I mean, I could do it sloppy way and it look ugly and awful, but great. Okay, we got that side done. Now I'm going to take these over and press them.
What size is this?
All right, now we'll get the other side on. I think I'm
Yeah, I'm gonna have to start sewing every day, even if it's just like 15 minutes.
Yep, I think that's a good idea, actually. Doing like a 15-minute, 15, 20-minute, or 30-minute. And at least you
Because I
accomplish.
know if I sit down, if I tell myself 15 minutes, I'll end up doing 30. I'll end up doing
Yep.
more.
Yeah,
But
that makes total sense.
even if I only do the 15, it's like I'd be happy with that.
Yep.
I've just got way too much fabric, way too much money invested in all this fabric to not be sewing.
Yep. I so agree with you. Okay. Make sure that's got to flip that way. Okay. That C needs to be on the right of that line, not on the left of it. With EPP, you just make the knots on the back or on the back of the shape. It doesn't have to look tidy.
Or for fastening off.
I guess.
So I guess like embroidery then.
My question of this day is how do you get the paper out when you're sewing through the paper? When it's cardstock. You're looking at a total newbie who has never even doesn't know a darn thing about EPP at all. I've seen people put, folding the fabric around the paper and whip stitching into, I guess it's whip stitching they're doing, which I don't even know how to whip stitch. That's hilarious.
No, I know
just
how to whip
knots
stitch.
in what's SA stand for? She says, I hide my knots in the SA. What does SA mean? Howsy with Love says, dear friends, I had my very first live last week and won the super glue at the house bingo. So now I can buy some fabric and start my own. Oh, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Goblin says you don't sew through the paper. And Shelby says the same thing. You don't sew through the paper. Okay. Because I was wondering about the paper. Hi there, correct, Scrappy Crafter. We are working on Sewcialites 7 and 8.
That's right.
Right now I'm making flying geese.
They're her favorite.
Oh, seam allowance. Gotcha, Housie.
Oh.
Housie told me what her name was. And I already forgotten her name. That's just terrible of me. I think her name is Annie. Annie, right? Housie, is it Annie that's Annie's your name? Let me know. I had to think about that for a minute. She told us what her name was the other day. She lives in New Zealand, I think. Super glue. Gotcha. Denise says seam allowance. There's not a seam allowance. Well, I guess the seam allowance is what you fold over. I can correct myself. Yep, she's in. Yep, Annie. Okay. I was trying to make sure I had your name right. It'll get better with me with names. I have to see you multiple times and then it'll just click in my brain. I'm really bad about people's names if I don't see them often enough. But I never forget a face if I see someone's face.
I forget everything and everyone. Please don't be offended.
I just notice faces and hands. That's the other thing. I notice people's hands.
I'm very unobservant. I don't notice things. And when I do notice things, I don't remember them. So like it could be a new house across the street and it might take me a couple weeks to notice.
Yeah. Like Robert Redford has beautiful, or he had beautiful hands. I noticed it when he was doing the horse whisperer. And that was where you got to meet Scarlett Johansson. Okay, now let's take these over and put some heat on them before I trim them down. All right, let's get my other ruler. We need a different ruler. I have the small one up here somewhere. And he says, when I paper pieced, I used tracing paper or soft printing paper and carefully tore the paper out. Had to be careful. Then he says, I didn't say that. And I removed that, what I did say. And Scrappy Crafter says, Chaunda, are you in Greenland as well? No, she's in North
No.
Carolina. Just me and my honey. Well, with all the other Greenlanders, not just the two of us. Hello, Mona.
Hey, Mona.
All right, these are supposed to be 2 inches by 3.5. Man, that 1/4 inch line. Oh, I can do it like this. Now, I'm trimming my flying geese right this minute. So I'm trying to be really careful that I don't accidentally do a boo-boo.
I need to clean up. I got crap everywhere.
Same here. we're running out of time. If we want to send people to Donna's.
I'm almost done here. What
Yeah,
time is it?
I'm
I'll
so,
yeah. So 15 minutes. Yeah, I'll be done in
yeah,
less
mine
than
won't be
5.
done. I don't think mine will be done, but it's okay. It's all right. If I'd had this cut, I wouldn't be going through this. This is my off week, you guys. I knew it was going to be crazy with everything going on with the airport. Because we wanted to be part of it. Because we're going to miss
Absolutely.
National Day yet again. Because we're flying out on National Day. So again, we won't get to participate in all the festivities. It seems like it never fails that the company that Nikolai works for always has him flying on National Day. Even for this education, because we could have went, a couple of days earlier to Denmark and went to, I'm sure there'll be some celebration in Denmark for Greenlanders that live in Denmark. And we probably could have found some activities to attend. Just think, you guys, summer solstice is just around the corner. All right, got my flying geese made. All right, let's see what this block is going to look like, because I'm going to go ahead and lay it all out. I hope I didn't miss anything here. All right, and I have a bunch of, ooh, let's close that. All right. Uh-oh, looks like I forgot to trim one of these. Oops. Oh my goodness.
It's so little.
Yep, definitely. Did any of these rest of them I forget to do? No, the rest of them are trimmed. Okay, let's get this set up the way they're asking you to set it up. And this is the background. And then we're going to put this one like this. And then these are going to face down like this.
I'm thinking about if I want to bring one of my travel machines to my aunt's house or not.
Would you be able to do that?
Yeah.
That might be a good way to continue working on things.
Mhm. I mean, I know I can crochet over there, but I'd be needing a break from that. My
And I need
hands need a
to,
break.
yep, and I need to reset our crochet live too. That's what it's gonna look. That's gonna look cool, Chaunda. You see that?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
What significance is summer solstice, Katie? It is National Day for Greenland. It's kind of like the 4th of July for the United States. And it's also to celebrate, it's mainly National Day and to celebrate summer solstice, which is the longest day of the year. Annie says she loves my flying geese. Thank you. They're decent. They're not all wonky like they usually are. Uh-oh, I need to move that needle over. There we go. It's moved over. see how much we can get in 10 minutes, get done in 10 minutes.
Well, my block is done.
Let me know when you want me to spotlight you and we'll show your block off. I bet it's gonna look super
I was
cute.
just trimming it up because it got a little wonky, as all my blocks do. But
Yeah, I won't forget. Oh, let's go ahead and do the second question while since we were mentioned. Hang on, no, let me spotlight
Mhm.
Chaunda first. Let's do Chaunda
here's my
first.
little
Hold
block.
on. Look at that. That looks wonderful. You know, your quilt is going to be super pretty.
It's gonna be cute.
It is indeedy.
And I'm getting to use some fabric that I got from QuiltCon not the year before last.
Oh, from 2024 or 2020?
Mm-hmm. 2024. I'm using all fabric that I got from QuiltCon except for my background.
That's cool.
So it'll be
And-
kind of a memory quilt in a way, you know?
Yep. Let's see here. John, hey Jen, it's good to see you. I need to send you an email too. Hang on a second. I got to catch up with some of this stuff. I just missed some stuff. Shelby says pretty. Annie says lovely block. Goblin says Primrose Cottage and Quilt says nice stuff for cross stitch and crochet. And then Andrea's reminded me to do the second question, which we're going to do in just a minute. Everybody's saying they don't want to go. Are y'all sure? I mean, I just thought y'all would want to go because I know some of y'all are Donna people. So if you want me to stay live, I can stay live. You up for that, Chaunda?
I can stay till 7:30.
Yeah,
If we do, I'm gonna go pull out my flying geese.
let's do this then. We'll just stick around and not go anywhere.
Let me go grab them. I'm gonna sew some flying geese together.
All right, let's get the second. What I'm doing right now is I'm chain sewing. And after I finish this block, I can also work on the flower block too. Make sure I'm doing this right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try to cut my other socialite block because I know I won't be able to finish that. So I'd rather just tinker with something I can have time to finish.
How you doing, Mona? Chaunda, love your stash in the background, says Annie.
Thank you, Annie.
Nora is snoring under the desk.
Her little cutie patootie self.
Yep. You should have seen her when we got home last night. You'd have thought we had committed a cardinal crime leaving her behind.
Because you did.
She was not a happy camper. And she was letting us know about it. She cracks me up with the way she is. Never a dull moment with that one.
Nope.
I'm wondering how it's going to be when we try to fly with her. I bet it's going to be nerve-wracking. I'm not sure who it's going to be more nerve-wracking for. I think it's going to be more nerve-wracking for Nico because he's never traveled with a dog. But I think once we get to our destinations, that she'll be. I'm wondering what I'm going to do about her in the car. I just don't have the heart to lock her in a crate. But she should not even be riding in the front seat, period.
Yeah, but sometimes if the crate is for their safety,
Yeah,
you know?
and I might have, yeah, that's the other thing. I might have to go by the pet store and see if I can find a crate that's made for cars. And and then just send the crate, mail the crate home, when we get ready to go home, because it's not like
Mhm.
I don't know. I haven't figured that situation out yet. On the airplane, she's going to be flying in a small, flexible crate,
Okay.
but that little crate thing is really not made for. There's no way to put a seatbelt around it or anything. I still haven't figured out what kind of car we're going to rent yet. I need to get off my butt and deal with that. I'm going to see if I can't find like a small mini SUV or something like that, because that's what we had last time we were there. And it got really great gas mileage, and it can hold suitcases, no problem, in the back without taking up the back seat,
Yeah, definitely.
All right, we're going to stay live. We're not going to mosey on over to Donna's. Hey, Dubrovka, because some people are just dropping in.
Hey, Dubrovka.
Okay, we got this part done. Now I'll add this to this, and then sew these together, put this one on here, and that leaves the two side pieces. And wait, let me see what I missed. Someone saying hi to Linda. Where's Linda at?
Hey, Linda. Linda's Trendy Thread.
Yahoo!
like that.
I'm horrible
I
at
like that
flying
name.
geese. She says I can use some pointers. If you saw the way I just did mine. Chaunda, love your stash. Oh, okay, we're all right. Let me get back down here now. Green or Goblin says sub to Mona. And then Andrea says, would like to write down the answer. Okay, I'm going to answer the question. Just a second. And Mona says she's tired from driving Miss Daisy and sick dog. Uh-oh, not good on the sick dog. So everybody's saying hi to Linda, but I don't see Linda. Unless I missed something.
I saw her.
Hey, Kevin, what's up?
Hey, Tuber Chat, Kevin. What's up, Kevin?
And hi, Linda. I don't see where you were at, but you must be here. So, right, because everybody's saying hi. All right, and I'm going to share Kevin's channel. If you have a small channel and you're a creator, Kevin's channel can help your channel grow. You just got to put in a little bit of work. Easy work. Did the bot share that link or not? I sure don't see it.
No, I just see the exclamation Kevin.
And it didn't post it?
Uh-uh.
Yeah, I see that. Why? Oh, I know why. Maybe I didn't use, maybe I didn't use his first name, but I could have sworn I did. Or the bot is taking a nap. Ah, there it is. It must have been asleep. Annie says, I'm a new channel. My first live, I was nervous, but had fun. I'm glad you had fun. And I'll go make sure I watch your replay. Annie, if you type exclamation selfie, you can share your channel link. Any of you who are channel creators can type exclamation selfie to share your channel links. You're very welcome to do so in my channel.
Okay, 21 times 8.
This little block's not hard. It's just a little bit, lots of moving place, what I call moving parts, flying geese and half square triangles, but it's not hard to make. Who was it that said they wanted pointers for flying geese? Andrea, is Katie still live? You don't need, huh? Oh, and I need to do the questions. All right. The poll. If you haven't voted, vote now or forever hold your peace. I'm gonna give you 30 seconds. Maybe, or a little more. If you've not voted on the answer to question number 20, please do so now. Because this is the questions for the giveaway that will be hosted on the first Thursday in May. We'll be giving away 4 gift cards. And all you have to do is collect the answers, the right answer. And and if you don't get the answer right in the poll, that's no big deal. What you do have to do is write down the correct answer when I give it, and you're going to need to put it on the form with that you have to fill out to participate in the giveaway. And yeah. And the form, I'll share the link again for the form. And that is the link for the form. Come on, bot. Okay, let's do the questions. Question number 20 is, we have 27 votes. What does coffee make mean in Greenland? Or Greenlandic, that's what it was supposed to say, sorry. 11% voted for A, which says coffee is in the blood of Greenland. 7% voted for B, coffee sells well in Greenland. C, 63% voted for celebrations with friends and family. And D, 19% voted for the summer solstice. The answer is C, celebrations with friends and family. So basically, a coffee mick is where people, and this will include things like birthdays, anniversaries, weddings, let me see, guests that come on tourist ships. And basically, the host who's hosting the coffee mick will have an open door, and they start the coffee mick at early in the day, and it runs to late in the afternoon. Usually it's an all day kind of thing, and you come and go as you please. Come in and have sweets, because there'll be cakes and things made for you to eat, and you can have coffee or tea or water, whichever you like, and you sit around and tell stories and yeah, enjoy yourself. And that's what a coffee mick is in Greenlandic. It's a
That sounds nice.
It is very nice. Greenlanders are very community oriented with this kind of thing. Scrappy Cracker says, gotta go, y'all. Have fun. See you on the next one. Thank you for coming.
Bye-bye.
See you later. So that's the answer. C. No. Yeah, C. Celebrations with friends and family. Amy says 14 more subscribers and in at 100 subscribers already. Thank you, everyone. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
That's what makes
That's a milestone.
Yeah, that's a milestone, definitely. I hit 2 milestones this week.
You've been on a roll, Katie.
I know. I got an email from YouTube today telling me that I've uploaded 651 videos.
That's a lot of videos.
Yeah, I'm like getting close, creeping closer to that 1,000 mark. Not that I'm trying to break any record. I'm not. I don't even think about um how many videos are on there until I get an email telling me, "Oh, you've done this." Do you ever go to coffee mix? Yes, I've been to several. No, this was question number 20, 20, Dubravka. Let me give you question number 19. Let me know when you've written down number 20 and I'll give you number 19. I did 2 of them tonight because I didn't have my live last night because we were elsewhere. This is starting to look like something. I probably need to re-measure my little. And I'm going to type in question number 19. And here's question number 19 for anyone that just came in.
I gotta figure out how I want to do this.
And there's the question number 19. I just posted it in the channel. Annie says she'll be back soon, checking up on her neighbor. Okay. All right, you're back to sewing here. With it being so hot, has all the flowers, do you still have lots of flowers going on, or has it kind of went fast and fizzled out in your area, Chaunda?
Say that again. The flowers you said?
Yes, you know how spring has lots of flowers when as soon as it
Um,
was really good.
I didn't really pay attention because we don't have any flowers on our property. We just have one flowery tree, sort of, but no, because I can't keep anything alive. So I don't have any flowers. But I'm trying to think about like my neighbors and stuff. I don't know. Remember
See,
that whole thing I said I'm not really observant?
yeah, that counts for that too.
Yeah,
And
I don't know.
one of the first things that happens in Florida is the dogwoods and the eastern redbuds flower. So you have all these white flowers from the dogwoods, and the pink colored ones, pink purple color of the eastern redbuds, and they're everywhere. And I'm pretty sure eastern redbuds run all the way up to North Carolina, and I think dogwoods too. But the further north the dogwoods go, you can also see pink dogwoods. They seem to like colder temperatures to flower that color. Going to lurk as I have a few lives running. Okay, Mona. And then, yeah, all right. I need to go fill up my cup.
And this here, ladies and gentlemen, is why I don't do scrappy quilts.
Why is that?
How to lay them out.
Those are lots of flying geese.
There's 174 of them.
Wow.
Yeah, I wanted to get good at making flying geese, so I made a bunch, made them all scrappy,
Well, they
and
look great.
never put them together because I didn't know how. So I think I'm just gonna go random here,
Yeah,
which is gonna hurt my soul, but I'm gonna go for it.
you'll be fine. You got this. You got this. Sherry says, me too, and flowers are blooming. You notice we just hit number 20 question. That means we have 5 questions left. Which means it'll be the last Thursday of this month. And April will be done. And we'll be heading into May.
So you're doing these 25 questions total?
Yeah, that's what it turned out to be. I was kind of surprised because when I added up the weeks, I'm like, really? How did that happen? And then I realized I started on the first Thursday, and because I decided to finish it on the last Thursday, that's why the number came out to be 25 like that odd number. Because I was only doing the questions on the Thursday, Friday, and Saturday lives. I wasn't doing them on the ones I do once a month kind of thing. I didn't
Okay.
do them on those days at all because I figured it would be too difficult for people to keep up because not everybody attends the crochet live.
Right.
Everybody attends the mental health live, and not everybody attends the early morning live that me and Sean do once a month. Okay, I need to take this to the iron and flatten it. There is some bulk going on here. Hey, Shonda, while I'm waiting on the iron to heat up, I'll be right back.
Alrighty.
Bio break.
Hi, Nina. Jen says it's raining again. Where do you live, Jen? Yeah, man. It's rough. Hey, Sean.
Something here.
Denise says all her 4 patches are going to be wonky because she doesn't know how to read a ruler. Girl, same. Don't worry about it. It'll quilt out. I can't even sew a straight seam.
Hi, Sean. I need to get these pressed.
Off to the races.
All my 4 patches are going to be wonky because I didn't know how to read a ruler. Uh-oh. What ruler were you trying to read? Denise, let us know. Maybe we should do a ruler, whatever you want to call it, ruler school. Hey, that's an idea. You know that, Chaunda?
Yeah, I never thought about that, but
No, me neither. I thought about doing um either a live or a pre-record talking about rulers. What ones do you really need and which ones are just whatever, you know?
I think I
Or
did a
for
video
kids.
like that. I don't know if I published it though, but I did one a long time ago.
Yeah, because it would just be from my perspective, you know? Because let me tell you what, I have rulers I've never used because I don't know how to use them.
I'm laughing because we know how many rulers I had. We did a count on stream
Yeah, I
once.
remember we talked about that one night. You
So
I got, I think, well, actually, I haven't done an actual count on mine yet. I keep forgetting to do that. But it might be fun to do a live where we could put the camera, point the camera right on the rulers and talk about certain things about rulers and on how, because we all have our own way of how we measure things. Like with these flying geese, I don't have a flying geese ruler. I don't see the need to, because number one, my biggest chief complaint about specialty rulers is the videos do not actually show you how to actually use them. And that is a problem all by itself. And that's why I have rulers I have no clue how to use.
I usually find better luck watching someone else. Like, so the people who make the ruler might not have a good video, but sometimes I can find someone else that does.
Yeah.
But the
Denise,
Creative Grids 4 at a time flying geese ruler, it did have an instructional video.
okay. But do you really need one?
No, you do not.
I mean, that's my thing. That's what I want to talk about when I do a video, when I do get around to it, is I want to talk about what I think beginners really should have or should invest in and what the rest of this stuff, they don't need it. And if
Yep.
you're on limited income, don't have fear of missing out just because you can't buy them because really and truly, let's see, let's ask, I'm gonna ask Chaunda and I'm gonna give you and I'm gonna tell you what I use the most. Which out of all the rulers you have, which 5 do you use the most?
That would be, it's easy because you really only need two, but the
The
5 that
two.
I would use the most would be my 6.5 by 24,
Hmm.
my 6.5-inch square, my 6.5 by 12.5. Those are my 3 core rulers that I use the most. And then after that would be probably the 6.5-inch square block lock and the stripology.
So here's what I use for trimming down half square triangles. The only specialty ruler that I use is this Quilt in a Day. This is a 6.5-inch one. The only because and what it does is on one side it has all your half sizes, and on the other side it has all your whole numbers for this. And you can use this before you open up your half square triangles. You just line up whatever so say you're trimming for a 2.5 inch, you would line this 2.5 inch line right on the seam allowance of those half square triangles and trim if it needs trimming. Now, what's the downside to this ruler? The main downside, man, I cannot talk. The downside to this particular ruler is it's super slick on the back side. And so I have
You could put some little ruler dots on the back.
Yeah, I have these little heart dots on the back of here because I don't want to give up. I do have a block lock, but I keep going back to this. This one makes sense to my brain. So I use this one all the time for trimming down. Now, as far as main rulers, I have a, my main go-to usually is this one. This one is a 4 by 8.5, 4.5 by 8.5. But then recently I went and bought a 4.5 by 12.5 because my desk sometimes limits me on big rulers. Now, the other thing is I do have a 6.5 by 6.5 squared ruler that I use constantly. My bigger rulers, I have an 8.5 by 24, and my suggestion, you buy the 8.5 by the 24.5. That because you can use that just about for everything. Yardage.
I have that ruler, but I almost never use it. I for some reason I default to the 6.5.
I only use my 24-inch long one for yardage mainly. I don't use it for pre-cuts. Now this one is 8.5 by 18.5. Now this one's shorter, but this comes in handy if I don't want to drag that really long ruler out because mostly I use it for cutting yardage. This one's a bit shorter, and it's great for fat quarters, especially if you're cutting several of them together. It's really great for that. But these just get used for cutting big pieces of fabric. That's all I use them for. The other one that I do definitely use on a regular basis is it's 8.5 by 12.5. That's the other one. So really, out of all the rulers I own, the main 5 is what I mentioned. And the rest of them are just, I use them occasionally, but can I do without them? Yeah. I don't need them.
That's right. Now I will say, like of the specialty rulers, I do really like my block lock because I tend to I distort my fabric every time I touch it, right? So every time I touch the fabric, I'm distorting it every time. And so I'm a terrible presser. And so I tend to distort the fold when I press my half square triangles open. So I love to press mine open first.
Yep, same.
And then use the block lock on top of it open so I can square it up. And I was fortunate enough to get a set of block locks. I got a 2.5, a 4.5, and a 6.5 for like $15, some ridiculous price. because somebody had returned them to Amazon, and since they were used, they were selling them cheap. That's the only reason I have a block lock. Because I'm not paying what I wouldn't pay what they charge for it.
Let me see what size block lock I have. I think it's in this drawer with my others. No, it's in there on the table. But I have a set of rulers I want to find a home for. Their Fiskars ruler set. There's a huge one, and then a smaller one, and then a smaller one. I think there's 4 of them, and I want to find a new home for them. I just got to figure out how to ship them to whoever I give them away to. Maybe I'll do it as a giveaway and then ship them out to whoever wins it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the only thing with especially if you're doing like a large ruler. That means you have a large box.
Yeah. And I mean, I've been getting large boxes from Fat Quarter Shop lately because I've been on a project bin thing lately because I really need some. So
I haven't bought any fabric, but when Yarn Inspirations had 40% off, I bought a lot of yarn.
yeah, I don't blame you there when they're on, especially when they're on sale. Okay, let me read the chat because a bunch of stuff has happened here. Let's see. Sean came in and said hi, and then someone's talking about no tornadoes, thank goodness. And then Denise says fabric is getting too expensive to make too many mistakes. You got that right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's why I don't want to mess around making flying geese. I know I can't do like the 4 at a time, 8 at a time. I have epically failed so many times on that. I'm not doing it and wasting fabric right now. Can't afford it. Period. And then she says, Denise, well, part of the problem is that I am left-handed, so I have to turn the ruler upside down. The other problem is that I'm using a 12 by 12 inch ruler to trim 4-inch blocks. Oh, yeah, that is a little bit problematic. So someone needs a smaller ruler. And then Denise says, I bet Sean could do a great video on ruler markings. Oh, my idea though. Denise says, when I am cutting on a mat, move your eyes to look at the numbers on the opposite side of the mat or walk around the other side. I think Creative, which means you have to buy them. Creative Grid started making left-handed rulers. I don't have the room for a 24.5 inch ruler when I cut yardage. I fold it in half again and use my 5 by 15 and the stripology. I want a stripology, and Nikolai says I can buy one because I told him how much one was going to cost because I was going to buy the big one. But I just haven't done it. I keep putting it off because every time I look at the price tag, I just shake my head.
It's when it's so expensive now.
It's like
It's so expensive now.
$75.
Because I bought so I have a knockoff stripology ruler that I got off Amazon, I don't know, 5 years ago. And then when I went to QuiltCon 2024, I bought a genuine one.
Yeah.
So I've got this other one, and I just need to list it on Marketplace or something like that.
Yeah, you might be able to come off of it that way. I agree with you. I think the next time I come to the States, I'm going to pull the trigger and buy one because it will fit in my suitcase. Because I have one side of my suitcase is flat enough it won't get messed up. It doesn't have that ridge like the other side of it does.
Yeah.
So it would make it home okay. Shipping it home, it could be done. There's always risk though. You know, I halfway thought that I would end up with a project box broken, you know, because I bought the big ones, what they call the super ones.
Mm-hmm.
And because I have several of those now. And but so far the survival of them has been really good getting here. And they always pack them in this really big box. And I'm looking at this really big box and I'm thinking, I don't understand why they don't ship big mats anymore because those mats will fit in one of those boxes.
I don't know. I got a mat It came in a box, a flat box right here.
Yeah. So I don't know why they're not wanting to do it. Maybe what I need to do is order one and have it sent to somebody's house and then go online and look for that. It's like I think they call those mirror boxes, don't they?
I have no idea.
I think that's what they're called, is mirror boxes. And order a mirror box and send it to so and so's house and then have it sent home to me. But if I'm gonna do that, I might as well buy more than one mat. That way because I'm gonna get eaten alive by shipping anyway. Maybe buy 2 of them or something like that.
That could work.
Denise says, I have never had issues being left-handed. Don't think it's tough. I look at it as having to. Well, Denise, my son is left-handed from birth. His son is left-handed. All 3 of my granddaughters are left-handed, and no one in my family on either side, the paternal or the maternal side, are left-handers. Don't you find that interesting?
Yeah.
One of the first things I had to battle was my first father-in-law, because he could see that Thomas was left-handed. He's like, you need to train that boy not to use that hand and use his right hand. And I looked at Mr. Douglas and I said, this is how God made him. And if you can't accept that, that's your problem.
That's right.
I'm not going to change what he was born with. All these weird superstitious things about left-handers. I
My daughter's left-handed.
don't even understand who come up with all that crap.
I mean, back in the day, it's from like old times when people just didn't have information.
I know, but Thomas was born in 1989. Why is that superstition still a thing?
It just does. Just like black cats crossing your path. It's all ridiculous.
Yep. I think sometimes people do these things as a design to make people be fearful of things.
100%, yes.
To control
Absolutely.
them using fear. Just shortchange myself right there. We're getting closer to having this block ready. All right, let's see what this looks like. Oh, that's what I was thinking. This block has issues, big time issues. This is all about these flying geese. You see what happened? Look, Chaunda. Can you see it?
No, hold on. Let me make it bigger. I'm gonna pin you.
It's right there.
No, what's the problem? What's the matter?
Well, look at it. Hang on.
It's off by a thread, Katie. I barely noticed if you didn't
That's
point it
not
out.
good. This is off by 1/4 of an inch.
Oh, you mean the one on the I thought you meant the one on the top. You mean the one on the left.
Oh, see how it doesn't line up? This yellow is supposed to line up like a square, like doing a square and a square.
Yeah. So
That is
this
not.
one over the one on the I'm touching the screen like you can see what I'm doing.
Yeah. Now the one on the right is okay, but the one on the left is not.
So yeah, I was looking at the one on top and I was like, that looks good. Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah, it's this right here. This is incorrect.
I mean, I guess I just don't worry about it.
Yeah, but I'm gonna see it, and because that's big as day, I see it.
But you're not like if you're not gonna see it in a quilt though.
Yeah, you will.
Oh, you might. I would never see it.
I would see it.
I think it really helps. Not being very observant really helps me in my quilting life because it lets me really let some stuff
I
go. I'm
want to
like,
see if I can do something about it, though. I wonder what I could do about it. I don't know what I can do about it. I might have to remake that one flying geese. That I think the one that's off is this one right here. Because see, there's more than a 1/4 inch seam allowance on both sides of this, and I think that's what's created the issue is this one. And I have that same big quarter. This more, yeah, this is definitely bigger than a 1/4 inch. Let me look and see. I'm almost sure that it is. Yep, this is 3/8. 3/8. And that's what this one over here is. What's happened to this one's 3/8. But on this side, it's fine. This is why I hate doing flying geese. Shelby, hang on a second, you guys. Shelby's saying something about I can fix that because I'll probably take it out and do. Maybe I just need to readjust this part.
okay, huh? How long you been home? Were you who I heard pumping the music in the driveway? The other the backwash one? Oh yeah, the backwash one came. Yes, it got delivered. Yeah, yeah.
Where's my trusty seam ripper? Shelby says, oh, first she said most storage unit places or U-Haul places here have mirror and picture boxes. Yeah, and that's what I
I
was
think
thinking
ours is about
because
16.
that's what a mat could be shipped in. And and if I did that, I would probably buy 2 mats because they would more than compensate for how much it's going to cost to ship it. 10% of the world's population is left-handed. And then Goblin says, does anyone cross stitch? There's a few cross stitchers in here. And then she says, after you wash it, when finished, no one will see it. I will see it. Especially because this is the Sewcialites. You can fix that by making the flying foot wing, flying geese wing seam between the yellow and green slightly narrower. Yep. And autocorrect. And then Shelby says, I struggle with flying geese too. Yeah, definitely I do. It's a big annoyance for me. That's why sometimes I'm like, nope, I'm going to just do half square triangles. Get it over with. Because I can handle half square triangles, no problem. When I don't know if you ever heard me talk about this or not, Shauna. When I first started learning how to do this quilting stuff, I was already doing pinwheels. And my pinwheels always looked good because I like doing them. They're a challenge. But the flying
Okay.
geese just annoy the crap out of me. Sorry, guys, but I have to fix this. I can't let this go. It's too far off. So you're going to see me try to fix it. And if it still doesn't work the way it needs to, I'm going to take Shelby's suggestion, though, and I'm going to take this off here and trim it. Maybe I need to look at it on the ruler. Maybe it was slightly off or something, which is potentially a possibility. Probably should have, because I didn't think to measure all of them. or go back and recheck them, that is. All right, let's take this out and we're going to retrim the flying geese part, which means I need to get the iron to it.
Do some quilt math.
Huh?
Do some quick quilt math.
Yeah. See this one here, let me measure this right here. Now this seam on this side is exactly a quarter. Let me see if it is on this side. And this one's fine too. It's a quarter. So I don't understand why I have two of these sets of these are fine and one is not. So maybe I didn't trim it because I got distracted. But it's nothing I think that it can be fixed. You notice I didn't rip the whole seam out because this side's fine. Now, let me see what this seam over here looks like, though. I'm concerned about this right here, though. Now, this one's
Which
3/8
one?
inch on this side. So what do I do? Do I take both sides off and make sure I retrim them? Because that will matter. All right, let's deal with the one side first, so I can determine whether I need to make new ones or not. How many of you are sewing the Sewcialites right now? Let us know in the channel. And if
That'd
you
be
are
interesting to
sewing,
know. I said, yeah, that would be interesting to know.
yep. And if you are doing Sewcialites, how many blocks have you done now? Are you up to date? Are you playing catch up or, uh-oh, I just said a word. That's the first time we've used it tonight. And he didn't hear it. Good. Big joke about the word. So if you're doing Sewcialites, let us know and let us know what blocks y'all are on. I think I saw that Shelby said she was doing them, I think. And tomorrow night, or tomorrow afternoon, your time, we're going to work on part 2 of the channel Sew Along. I'll be giving y'all instructions. But I need to revisit the instructions for part 1. Did you think that how I described how to separate the layer cake makes sense to you, Chaunda?
No, that's why I rewrote it.
I also noticed there was a discrepancy in my, I had in there make 74 patches. We're not making 74 patches. We're making 35. I don't know why I put 74 patches when we're only making 35. I saw that in there too. I'm like, uh-oh, that's wrong.
Yeah, I didn't know if you would like the way I rewrote it, but it was just the way my brain was working.
Yeah. So I'm going
So
to
I
read.
figured you could take or leave what you wanted from
Yep.
it.
I just need to revisit it with everybody because I got some emails asking questions. Especially when it was talking about separating the layer cakes.
Yeah, because like you don't say anything, like you don't, because you say take out the ones that are blenders and those are going to be for background, but then you don't say like how many you needed, like you need to define how many you need for your main prints before you can decide how many to pull out for background.
Yeah, that's the problem with when you're designing in your head.
because you know what you mean. Like
Yeah.
you know what you're talking about.
I still don't really have a big understanding on how to determine how much of something you need. I think that's my biggest obstacle right there. I have all this stuff in my head on what I want to make, and I even do the sew, sew the portion that needs to sew to get the understanding of it. But telling them how much they need to cut of the layer cake, I still don't have that understanding. It's like an estimate. I'm doing an estimate, not an actual. I know how much you're going to use.
Well, based on the cuts that you specified, I determined that they were going to need 35 pieces. I just couldn't differentiate which pieces were background for the blenders and which pieces weren't.
All I did was go through both the layer cakes, and I pulled out all the light colors that would pass as that I could use as board, because the 4 patches are a mixture of colors, and you don't want to. I didn't want people to get too confused on. I wanted to try to keep it simple, so I said any dark that you could use as a blender or a background along with lights, pull all those out and set those completely aside, because we're going to use those as strip sets. The
Right,
rest
but you
of
don't
it,
know,
I don't
but
know
like
the
if you just
number.
have,
No, I have no
right,
idea how many. Yeah, I don't
right.
know
So
the
that's the
number.
thing. Like if you're starting, you need to know how much fabric you need. So, you know, like when you're making one block, it doesn't matter. But like when you're making the whole quilt, then it's like you don't know how much you need. Like you need to know, like, do I need one layer cake? Do I need like how much fabric do I need?
This flying geese is correct. It's 2 inch by 3.5. And when you're looking at it before I sewed the seam, I don't understand why it's off.
It might be your sew line was off. So your unit might be correct. Like the size of your finished unit might be accurate. But if you didn't sew the correct angle line on the when you attack, when you were making it, it's gonna throw it off.
Hmm.
So when you look at your finished flying geese, not finished, sorry, your unfinished,
So here, let me spotlight so you can
let
see
me,
what I.
yeah, let me see. Let
Let
me
me
go to my, let me
spotlight so
see.
I can show you. Because when I take the ruler, it says 2 inches by 3.5 inch. All of them are the same size. Oh, I spotted a lot. Oops, sorry. Wrong one. So when I put my ruler on here, it's, wait, there is 1/8 of an inch on here on this one. That's where it's off at, right there. So I got to figure out
You
how
probably
to,
just need to reach, can you just use the ruler and retrim the block?
yeah, I just got to be careful how I do it. So if this is 3.5, it would be 1 3/4 would be the center, right? Yeah. One and
Yes.
yeah, 1 3/4 would be the center. That's how I can make it accurate. And then turn it around and set it at the 3.5 and trim it again. Maybe it's just because it's off by that little 1/8, this one. And I bet that's what's wrong with this other one. Okay, let's try this again. All right, this is trim. Now let me recheck it. Now it's 3.5. All right. Now let me check this other one because I can do it by doing it on the back. Or not. Quarter of an inch over here. Yeah, I think what I need to do is take all the flying geese off and trim them, or check to see if they need trimming. Because that
That's
might.
funny, Rita.
What did Rita say? Oh, about your big flying geese?
Yeah.
Yes, the sew line is too far down into the yellow fabric. At least that's her guess. Okay, let me take off the spotlight now, and we're going to fix this. And as y'all know, I'm not going to just like push this aside and go on about something else. We're going to fix this. You know me, I'm not going to let go of it. Your flower is pretty. How many of the flying geese are you sewing together?
I have 174 of them.
Wow.
I think I'm going to do an 8 by 20 layout, so I'll need 160 of them.
I guess what I should do I guess what I should have did, or what I should start doing when I'm going to do a channel sew along, is make the quilt top first so I can determine how much of something it's going to take, so that I don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, there like somebody said, there are calculators and stuff like that that can help. But I mean, using a pre-cut, I mean, I can do the math. I just have to know like,
Yeah, but I don't know. That's my point. I only know what I want it to look like and how many to do, and I do it based, and I cut it as I went along. So, but I have no understanding of how much it needs to use of that based on how I'm cutting it. That's what I'm saying. And maybe what I need to do is actually make the quilt top and then make it into a sew along once I have an understanding of how much it took of something. Because I'm not using anything but layer cake, 2-layer cakes. That's all I'm using.
well, I mean, if you say, okay, I'm starting with 2-layer cakes, that's okay. It's just that afterwards, like when you're splitting up between background or and print, you just need to be able to specify how many layer cakes you need for each.
The interesting thing about that, Chaunda, is because I have 25 of the 35 4 patches done. And I'm looking because when I started doing the 4 patch part, that section of it, um, I cut, I took 2 10-inch blocks and I cut them in half, and I set one side to the side. And then I took those the other half, which was now 2 5 by 10s, and I cut those in half. Then I set one set of the 5-inch to the side too. Then I sewed just that one that's left over, that had the 2 5-inch blocks left over, and I sewed them face to face based on the way I cut it. Then I did, cut them vertical and horizontal, which gives you 4. You can make 2 4-patch blocks from that. Now, all that excess is sitting on the side, still hasn't been used for anything. And because I took it the way I did it, I've already made 25 squares by doing that, not even using all the excess that I set to the side. Does that make sense?
You would have to say that again.
That's a mouthful, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd have to write that down. I'd have to write that down.
Okay.
That's why remember we had that whole audiobook discussion, and I was like, when I'm trying to digest information. Like literally, it's so difficult for me to I'm like really smart, just not good at hearing things. So I'm gonna write it down.
Well, maybe what we
So
could
you
do is privately, I'll show you what I did.
okay,
Just
that's fine.
take a layer, because my layer cakes are torn apart right now, but I can show you what I did. And maybe we could just, then maybe you can help me decipher in
Okay.
legible text how we,
It probably made sense. It's just when I get information auditorily, it just doesn't.
yeah.
It doesn't. I need a little help.
And I think that's why some people are having trouble with the instructions because they saw me make the block, but they didn't see me exactly do what I was doing with the layer cake. I mean, I showed them how to pull the light colors, the solid, the ones you could use, they could get away with using as strip sets for the border that goes around the four patch. I showed them how I just pulled out these colors, but I didn't, and that's about as far as I took that part because I was going to explain that on the next part. But with the four patches, I just, like I just said a minute ago, and I think maybe that's where the communication is breaking down. Hey, Kathy, welcome, welcome.
Hey, Kathy.
Hang on a second. Let me hold on a minute. I'm going to spotlight. I'm going to set this block aside that I'm piddling with. And I'm going to spotlight this so you guys can see what I'm talking about. And along with Chaunda. We're still probably going to have to iron this out in private. But let's have a discussion about me and the way I do things. Because maybe it's the way I'm doing it's the problem. Let me spotlight this. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna set these aside for a minute and I'll explain about this in a minute. So I took layer cake, okay? And I've already
Mm-hmm.
pulled out, except the only thing I haven't really pulled out of here because I didn't pull this out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through here and I'm gonna pull two pieces. I'm gonna take one of this one and let's do this one because it's lighter. And yeah, we're gonna just play with two 10-inch squares for a minute. What I did is I laid them face to face. Hang on, I'm gonna set this aside for a minute because this is all the excess of what I did that hasn't been sewn into four patch blocks. Then I took my ruler and what I did is I put my 5-inch mark right here on the outer edge of that. Now I'm only messing with two pieces of fabric right now, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then what I did is I cut that in half. So now I have two 5x10 pieces. I took this piece and put it in the pile, which I'll show you in just a minute. Now I'm left with this side. And that moved when I didn't want it to move. So now I got to realign it. Then I turned it to the side. And I cut this in half again.
Right. So you cut it into 4 5-inch squares.
Yeah. set this aside. Now, you can see that I have a lot here. Hang on a minute. So just keep your mind on this for a minute. Let me show you some. So every 10-inch squares, I did that to, and I set a half of aside. So this is all of the ones I have not cut or done anything with yet. And I also have all these leftover pieces. And these are all the ones that well, this is sewn together. This one, these are sewn together ones. See, I sewed some together. And then what's left over down here is the rest of the 5-inch blocks I haven't used. These are going to get used along with these, and I'll explain in a minute. Okay, so then what I did with just this one 5-inch block, I sewed a 1/4-inch seam here and one down here, cut it horizontal and vertical, horizontal to make these 4 patch blocks. Okay. Now, rest of this is not the other half of that 10-inch block you saw me cut off, these 5x10s. I was saving them for part where I was talking about doing the colored border. These extra 5-inch squares will get used also. Because but do I know how many of these I've cut? No. But
see, that's the part. So because you don't want to have a lot of waste, right?
Right. So if we're getting, if I'm getting 2 4-patch blocks from 2 5-inch squares, and we're only going to use 35 of these, the rest of this is free to use elsewhere in the quilt, which I was going to use it as piano key type thing for a border.
Yeah, you just don't want people to cut too much. So I was trying to figure out.
So I got to figure out how many actually we need. And that's the part of the math that I'm not doing properly then. Hey, Jess.
And so that's what I was trying to help with. But what I couldn't figure out is, what are you considering background?
This is what I pulled out for background. Because this is the block. This is the main block, and they're going to make 35 of these blocks right here.
So you would have to have.
We're going to make 7 of these. So the border that you see going around it is where you pulled out anything you could get away with using as a border, or whatever you want to call it.
All right, and you said there's 35 blocks?
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And I can get, out of one 10-inch square, I can get 4 strips. 2 of them can be the 8.5, and the other 2 can be 4.5. Yeah. So each one of these will make that many. They'll make 4 strips, and then you take one strip here to make 2 if you want, or you can take the other. You could do half as 8.5 inch by 2.5 inch, and the other half 2.5 by 4.5 if you want to do it like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you would need 18 squares for background. That would be the minimum, because each 10-inch square will give you enough pieces for 2 blocks, right? Right. So you would need a minimum of 18 squares for a quote unquote background.
See,
of course, if you wanted to be more scrappy, you can have more, but you would need a minimum of 18.
And I'm pretty sure I had more than 18 because I've already cut a lot of strips already.
Right. And that's the thing, now you probably cut a bunch of fabric that you're not going to need in your quilt.
Okay, so we need to so basically we need to figure out how many. You just said 18 for the background.
Right, because that's two blocks. You have, because hold on, because you've got 35 total but you got some half blocks in it. So how
Yeah,
many
no,
total blocks? How many half blocks?
yeah, we only need 7 half blocks.
Okay.
Everything else,
So-
yeah, where'd it go? It's down underneath all this stuff. The made block, because we're only going to use 1 half block per row. So they're only going to need 7 of these half blocks right here. And so that means they're only going to need 7 of these half patch as well. And this is 2.5 inches by 2.5, and this one is 8.5 by 2.5.
Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3. So I would say you
Guys,
need
we're gonna
20,
talk
you
about
need,
this.
so you need 20 10-inch squares for your background.
Yeah, so 20. Yeah. All right. So are you writing that down so I can get that from you later?
Yes.
Because I think the way I wrote it doesn't make sense. And I understand that. That's why I needed help. Because it's in my head and I don't know how to get it on paper.
Yeah, I was hoping what I wrote would help you a little bit because I
Well,
was trying to
I hit a
write
spot
out.
and I'm like, wait, I don't understand what that, yeah. We need to, and you're right. You need to know how much to use. And I didn't know the answer to that.
Yeah,
So
so 20 10-inch squares is sufficient for all of your quote unquote background. Your that would be enough.
yeah. Okay. So keep track of that because I need to write that stuff down. So we're going to need 20 of the squares that they can pull out 20 squares that we can use as what I'm calling a blender background.
Correct.
And as you can see, my blender background, see, this is what I pulled out of my, so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about here. This is what I pulled out of here. All of this
Okay.
can get away with being, and it not clash with each other based on how we lay this, because I haven't told you how we're laying this out yet. I'm just telling you how many squares we need of each thing, along with,
Right.
because they're going to have to cut 70 of these 8.5 inch by 2.5 inch, and 70 of the, no, yeah, there's 70 of the 8.5 by 2.5, and 70 of the 4.5 by 2.5. That's for the blocks. The ones for the half blocks, you're going to need 7 of these 8.5 by 2.5, and you're going to need 14 of the 2.5 by 2.5.
Correct. I did figure that part out.
Yeah, that part, this part, yeah. So that's where I got the numbers for how many of these you need. I just didn't think to count how many, because I don't think I have all 70 cut yet, but I'm getting close. So I guess I can figure out the math if I just count all my strips based on what I've got already, on how many I should be able to tell. Because I know it took, when I cut each 10-inch block, I got 2 8.5 by 2.5, and I got 4 of those.
Yeah, I think when I was writing it up, I didn't understand the background piece. So I was giving instruction on how to get all of your cuts from one square.
Okay.
I didn't do the separation part. I think it's the piece that I was missing. So
Okay.
I was showing how you could get a 5-inch square, and then you could get other pieces as well. So I was trying to be really judicious with the fabric, but I didn't know how to account for the background part.
Okay. So this is where I was not communicating properly.
Yeah, because you say, hey, take your layer cake and separate out your background
But
and
I don't tell you
versus
how many to pull out, and that's where the mistake happens.
right,
Because
and you
technically
didn't
we
tell
need
how to
20.
cut either. You didn't say specifically, okay, when you're cutting your background, this is how you're cutting your background.
Okay. And this the cutting of the background was going to happen tomorrow. I was going to, because I still have plenty of the background left, and I was going to show how to cut from, each 10-inch, how to cut these strips, because they're going to
Okay.
need 70 of the 8.5 by 2.5, and they're going to
So
need
basically,
70 of
oh,
this. Yeah.
so basically your main prints are your 4 patches.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you're being okay. So you're so yeah. So I think if you clarify it that way, hey, you're gonna pull out these main prints. You're gonna need at least 35 5
know,
inch squares.
yeah, we're going to need 35 4 patches. And technically, you're getting 2 out of each one of these 5-inch sets. So it's going to, but yeah, you're going to have extras. What's going to happen, I think, out of this, which can be used for the 7 half patch blocks. And I don't know what's going on with my keyboard, but I need to get all that off of there. Did I just confuse you again?
No.
Goblin says, sounds like a square dance pattern. I don't know what pattern you're talking about. This is from my head. I've never seen this setup of a block. This is something I've envisioned in my head. So each
Square dance usually doesn't have the 4 patch in the middle.
Yeah, I've never seen a square dance block, so I don't know what it looks like.
It's just the block. It's just a square. It's a square and a square. So it's
Oh,
a square that has a border around it, but it usually doesn't have the 4 patch. The traditional square dance block doesn't have a 4 patch.
okay. I learned something new. I didn't know that's what that was called. Because you should be able to just take, because I had these two, and actually I bet you're right, I'm gonna have leftovers. One thing I planned on doing with all of this right here was I wanted to cut them into 2.5 inch, because these are 5 by 10s. And if we did 2.5 cuts, there would be like a little small piece left over. And you
Okay.
would have
Well,
all of these. And these
well,
would
it
be,
looks like you 100% do not need 2 layer cakes.
probably could get away with one, maybe.
So, like, I think one of them, like, I mean, I guess you could do it, but like a layer cake and a charm pack would be more than enough.
Yeah. And that's why I mentioned you could do a layer cake and a charm pack. My problem was I did not have a charm pack with this
2 layer
colorway.
cakes, you're going to have a lot of extra fabric, which is
I'll
fine.
have some left. Yeah, I definitely will have some left. But I didn't have a charms pack to match this layer cake. And I wanted to use this layer cake. And so because I've been sitting on this for like 6 years and
What just happened?
not knowing what I wanted to do with it.
I can't hear you now.
I'm still here. Can you hear me? Hello? Do you hear me? I think you lost your camera.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know what happened. I couldn't hear you.
Okay. If I'd had a layer cake and a charm square of this same colorway, I would have done that, but I didn't have that.
It just happened again. Is it just me? Is it just me?
I don't know. Because I can hear you. Yeah, Shelby, you're right. Shelby says, can you hear me, Chaunda? I don't hear you now.
How about now?
Now I can hear you.
Okay.
Battery die on something?
I don't know.
One of your cameras just, there it is. Shelby
I
had
just
a
logged
good
out of the Zoom just in case.
Okay. Shelby says, basically, we need 3 10-inch squares.
That's going to be way too much fabric. Well, you'll have a lot left, but
Yeah.
that's a lot. You'll have a lot. If you'd need 3 layer cakes because that's 35 blocks. So I don't think you'd want to use 3 layer cake squares.
We're not going to use 3 layer cakes. This layer cake will make this quilt.
No. I mean, so Math Geek is saying if you use 3 squares for each block, and then you have all that leftover fabric. I'm saying if you use 3 squares to make each block,
Yeah,
that's 3 total layer cakes, and that would be a lot of leftover fabric. So you wouldn't need the most you need is 2 layer cake squares for each block at most.
Yeah.
Although
And
she fixed it.
yeah. And the plan for the leftovers of this is, like I said, we could cut these into strips and do a piano key as part of the border or as a border, do a thin border. The only thing is when I started thinking about this, I'm like, well, yardage is going to end up coming into play because we're going to need to put a thin border to separate. Well, no, maybe I won't have to. I mean, it depends on if I think about it, I'm fine with it being scrappy where this runs into the border that you saw on the block. It would be okay.
Yeah.
But some might not want to do it like that because the color just runs into each other. So maybe there would be like a thin border go around the main quilt top first and then do the piano key on the outside of that with all of this leftover stuff. And I need to write down what's being said.
All right, I probably got to wrap it up.
Yeah, we're
I
running.
gotta,
Yeah, we talked too
I
much.
have to
earlier.
cook, and then I gotta pick up my son from work, and then go to my aunt's house.
Okay, you guys, here's what I'm going to do. We will be continuing on with this discussion with this tomorrow because we're going to be working on this tomorrow on the sew anyway. And hopefully between me and Chaunda and everybody else, we'll figure out the math. Right, Chaunda?
And if you wanna have a chat tomorrow, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm not doing anything.
When's a good time for you? Because my live starts at 7:30, so we could get together early in my afternoon.
Yeah.
Which might be
I mean, I'll just be at my aunt's house, basically chilling.
okay. Okay. Because the finished product is this. You know, this is the main part of the whole quilt. And then we got this little tiny piece here that we're going to use. And when I explain what we're using it for, y'all will understand.
Yeah, I think the minimum fabric is 35 charm squares, or sorry, 35 5-inch squares, and
Yeah.
20, and those would be
And there will be 5.
Yeah, 35 5-inch squares, and those are your main prints, your vibrant stuff.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna match them into contrasting pairs.
Yeah. You want to try
I
to
guess
make
it would be 36. I guess it's 36.
and and then you're gonna and we're gonna have 5 of these across with 1 of these. And then it's gonna be 6 rows down. So it's gonna be 5 blocks across by 6 rows.
Yeah.
You'll have 6 rows. So it's 30 block. No, I am doing the math wrong now, dang it. No, I want 5 by 7, which is 35. Yeah, there we go. Got it out. It's going to be longer than it is wide. And it should fit on a twin size bed by the time we're finished with it.
Nice size.
I hope. What did Shelby say? Shelby says, don't worry about what others might do. Just create your pattern. If we want to do something different, we can. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
What we're trying to do is trying to do is what's in my head is what'll happen because y'all seen me do this the last 2 years. Something comes out of my head, we finish it, but I have no understanding on how to articulate how much of something you need and how to get it written so that you have a written pattern for those of you that want to see the writing of the pattern. Does that make sense? So, and that's what I need to learn how to do. And doing it on live sometimes with us all talking, eventually my brain will figure out how to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why I need help because I don't have an understanding of this part yet.
45-inch squares will give you all of your full patches and your half patches.
45 10-inch squares?
45-inch squares.
Oh, 45 inch.
Yeah, 45-inch squares would be enough for all of your main patches and your half patches.
Yeah, for the third, yeah. Yeah, Okay.
So whether you want to cut those out of your layer cake or you have a charm pack, that's up to you.
Yeah, and the reason I gave options of either using layer cakes, you can use a layer cake or a layer cake and a charm square pack, or I
You
think
definitely need two pre-cuts because you're separating out the background part.
yeah, exactly. And the other thing is with the jelly roll, you might not even need but one jelly roll because there's a lot of yardage in that jelly roll. There's 2 7/8 in that, somewhere
Same
around that.
same yardage in a layer cake.
Yeah,
They have
it's
a
just a layer cake just set up different, and you can still do, because basically if you think about it, you can make 4 patches from the jelly roll plus all of this border strip set.
Yeah.
That's all this is strips. If you think of it that way. So a jelly roll would actually work.
Yeah, 1000%.
And I think one would be enough. I don't think they need a second jelly roll.
They need the second because of the splitting up of the background and the prints. Because you need enough blender fabric, and you're usually not going to get that from one.
This is true, yeah. Okay, so that's where we are on that. All right, you guys, what I'll do is, since I had to rip apart my block, I'll get that block re-sewn together the way it's supposed to look, and I'll share that with you along with my blossom, and Chaunda will probably have her block finished where we can get pictures and share it to you guys on the community tab so you'll know what we did. This didn't go the way I wanted it to go, but it's okay. Sometimes things happen on a live, and
absolutely.
Yeah, and if it doesn't work out, it's okay, and I'm fine with it not working out tonight. It's all right.
Yeah, you gotta work. That's what it's really like when you're quilting. Things don't work out, things don't line up, things don't add up, and you gotta stop and fix it. That's just part of the process. So I like that we're showing it on a live.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you were off camera, this same thing happened, you would still have to take it apart and redo it and fix it. So y'all are seeing me, make a mistake, and I don't even think it was a mistake. It's just something I did. Probably the way I did my flying geese, which I said at the beginning of this live, me and flying geese have a problem. Anyway, don't forget to make sure you've written down your answers. And tomorrow we start at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time, and we will be I will give you more instructions on our channel. So, and hopefully me and Chaunda will be able to hash out the information so it makes better sense for all of you guys. All right. And Chaunda, thank you for tonight.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was. I didn't get all freaked out. Try not to anyway. I'm getting better. You should be proud of me. I didn't freak out or get all defensive. I just took it out of it's in here. So I'll just jumble stuff. Anyway, y'all have a great night. Remember to live, laugh, love, and dream. What do you do with that? You make something beautiful, or you go do something beautiful for someone else so you can put a smile on their face, because you never know, that might change their whole world. So see y'all later.
Hasta la bye-bye.
All right, you stop the live.